But my legs heavy, I don't get it. How come I haven't hit it already? Still working, I'm still learning, I'm still searching, finally earning something, finally turning something called a profit. If I hear you talking shit, don't get caught in it. I'll be popping off and hit your ass, dropping all your shit. Yeah, I promise this, I got promises. You ain't stopping this, cross my shit, you'll be knocked unconscious, bitch. That's the consequence, I got this, I will not quit. Man, I'm on it, honest, I'm gonna launch quick, then I'm gone. It's just a matter of time before I'm over the climb and moving under my prime. Just quit my 9 to 5, I'm rocking, and they watching, cause it's shocking. Dropping all these top 10 songs, no stopping. It's time to live my life, it's time to live, not die. Wish I could slow down time and just enjoy the climb.
What is up, people? So this is what it is. So check this out. I wanted to talk about this for a very long time. Space-based solar power. And it dawned on me the second I sat down just now, and I'm surprised I hadn't thought about it before. But if Earth is flat and the sun is revolving around the top, shouldn't the sun be visible? The higher up you go, the longer it'll be, and you get to a certain point. Shouldn't you see the sun revolving above Earth all the time? Like, if you go 100,000 feet, you should see the sun always. The sun shouldn't disappear anywhere. I'm not saying you're like a quote unquote geostationary. If you're in space, you'd be seeing it and then not seeing it. You would see it all the time on a flat Earth if you got that high. I was thinking about that. Kind of doesn't work. But, that's here nor there for the conversation. What I wanted to do is, like I said, I kind of wanted to... I'm on a flat... I kind of wanted to, kind of go over, this technology that's been going on. I kind of stumbled into it, probably, I'd say probably 2 years ago, just under 2 years ago. And, it was a shock to me only because I wasn't looking for it. When I came across this, I found out that Silurian and PG&E, if you live in California, PG&E is basically our main electricity provider. SDG&E, if you live in San Diego, works for them overall. They're kind of state ran. I'd say about 20 years ago, they sold California's electrical rights to Silurian company. It's the company you see on the screen, under the guise that over a time period at the time of 15 to 16 years, Silurian would start basically taking over. Now, the reason this kind of caught my eye, the reason this was an issue to me, in my opinion, was solely because, one, they didn't tell the people this. I mean, there were press releases after the fact, and I'll show you in a second. The official signing actually happened in 1998. The first publication I was able to find about it was in 2000. Now, a lot of you guys know about all the fires that we had, and then PG&E being blamed for it, and now what they're doing is they want to basically file for bankruptcy, which would protect them from having to pay that money. me go ahead. I'm going to show you the publication part, because what it shows is what I believe to be PG&E has been basically hiking up rates, doing all this weird shit to fill, obviously fill your pockets before someone else takes over and you no longer will make that money. Another thing that kind of got me off was I've been in touch email wise with these guys since I found out about it. Let me go and show you that first. This is an email that I have with PG&E. This is probably, I think the date should be on there. Let me see. The date on here is April 11th, 2018. This was a pretty simple one. It was basically me asking the guy. He said, "Good afternoon. I was searching through your website, looking for some records, and I couldn't find one for California giving its energy rights to Silurian Corp with plans of space-based solar energy." Let me see the other one, because then his response. Let's see if I can find it on here. I think it's right above. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, it's right above. I don't know why you can't see it. Let me see if it's the screen here that's doing it. Ah, there we go. So, what ended up happening is I have the conversation with the man, and he says, "Not exactly sure what you're talking about. What energy rights, and what does SBSE stand for?" I emailed him back, telling him, I don't know why I don't have it up here, but basically I said, space-based energy. I don't know where the hell that other email went. I had both emails. Give me 1 second, guys. Because I had both emails. Basically, what he was saying is, and I'll get it right now. I'm actually bringing it up. He basically told me about the ins and outs. I knew that PG&E would collect money from its customers. I knew, I basically knew everything I needed to know about it. So basically what happens is Silurian doesn't take over until their technology is out. They don't take over, and PG&E continues to collect money. Once Silurian has the technology in the applications ready to go, then Silurian takes over, and then at that point they start launching parts up there. I'll go into that whole nine of how it works and what they're going to be doing. I just want to get this email up so you guys can see the conversation I had with them. Okay, let's see where I am. Here we go. Perfect. Pull it up right now. Where's it? There it go. And I'll just go ahead and share this. I'm trying to get it to go full screen. Anyway, I'll do it this way. There we go. So this is the actual email that I had. So when I talked to the guy and I asked him and everything, his response to it was basically, my understanding. All right, is this my email? Thank you very much. Okay, here it is. So he goes, my understanding, PG&E signed a contract to purchase energy from a company whose purpose is to construct a space-based energy system that would consist of solar panels deployed into a fixed orbit. Right, I think that's my email. Oh no, that's it. That was the email. Fixed in an orbit with generated energy beamed to a collector in Fresno using microwaves. The PG&E contract only becomes active if the system is actually built. To my knowledge, no such space-based energy system has been deployed, and the Energy Commission has no documents related to the proposed project or PG&E's contract. Generally, California Public Utilities Commission regulates the purchase of energy by investors-owned utilities like PG&E. You may want to contact the CPUC. Let me know if you have any questions. This concludes our Commission's review of your records request. Okay, so here's the problem. And I thought about this the second he said that to me. Excuse me, if it's not going to happen, if there's no public records, which they are supposed to obtain, first of all, then my question is how do we have all these documents, press releases, all talking about it? Here is the press release that was released in 2000, I believe. Yes, 2000. We'll go ahead and play that, show that one right now. So this is the press release. Basically, it's saying exactly what I was saying in relations to it. Again, April 13th, 2000, it was when this press release went out, saying PG&E Corporation today announced that it will sell the stock of its PG&E Energy Services units to Enron Energy Company. Operations Inc., the retail energy service unit of Enron Company, for approximately $85 million, subject to adjustment for working capital. Throughout the transaction, Enron will accept PG&E Services retail electric and gas components business. The corporation received offers from several parties interested in acquiring all or a portion of the company's retail energy service unit, basically meaning they're in the service work and the money they received for that. The transaction announced today will transfer the electrical and gas commodities business in certain related infrastructure assets to Enron. Sale subject to regulatory review, including approval from the Federal Energy Regulations Commission, and it accepted to be complete by the close of the second quarter of 2000. So that's them selling off their stock rights. That's the first portion of this, well, how you call money grab. Fill your pockets before you're gone. Knowing you're going to be gone, the company is going to want to make as much money before they're stopped working. Period. Right? So, like I said, they started with these publications then. The next one that I was able to find was, let me see here, this one right here. No, that's not it. Let me see. Nope. Okay, here we go. So basically this is it right here. This was actually from the Silurian Corp website. It's actually, I had to get this from the web archives because it no longer is actually on a web page. It says now PG&E has gone ahead with collaborated with the Manhattan Beach startup called Silurian Corporation. For those of you who don't know, Manhattan Beach is the business district that basically everything government does starts at. Skunk Works, it started there. All these private militaries, most of their headquarters, business office-wise, is there. That's what. If so, Manhattan Beach. It sounds familiar. That's what it is. Manhattan Beach Project. That's where it started at. But what put this deal apart from others, according to Silurian Corporation, aims to launch a series of giant solar collectors into orbit about 23,000 miles above Fresno. They will beam the energy to Earth in form of radio waves. Now PG&E has finalized a contract with Silurian to buy the power on one condition: if they can make the technology work. Now, I've been in contact with them. Actually, I emailed him a couple nights ago, and asked them, hey, since PG&E is going out of business, does that mean that the contract between PG&E and Silurian is now void? And to my acknowledgement, or my astonishment, which honestly I didn't think he would say, no, everything that they hadn't planned still go. So nothing's changed. I put that in my other email. Let me go. I'm pulling that up right now. I'll pull up another article that shows what's going on. And when I say a money grab, and Sasha, I saw your comment. I was actually waiting for this moment to bring it up. You said space-based solar power will never happen. It is too impracticable. Criticize the companies. Yes, the project not plausible. Okay. I'm going to blow your mind right now, Sasha. What's up, Dreads? How you doing, my friend? I'm going to be on for a short period. I'm going to open the panel, guys, in about 2 minutes. I just wanted to get through this little part. Remember I was saying it's a money grab. Now, a lot of people are skeptics about this, but like the title says, there's a long period of time where I figured that this was the only company doing it. I had seen like documents like China was talking with them to actually, be able to use some of this the power, and what I ended up finding out is it literally now is our modern day space race. If you wanted to know what it was like back in the day when the space race was going on, we're going to find out, because right now there's at least 4 companies putting out patents in technology to do their own launches. One of the biggest reasons why California is doing this is, are definitely going to go along with it, and I do believe they're going to do it, is 100% because California has spent so much money in the technology. What do I mean? Well, California has the largest solar panel farms in the world, and we have multiple ones. I'm not sure if anybody's ever seen one of these solar farms, but it is it's a doozy. They're huge. I'm gonna show you in a second. Here's the second one of the other emails that I have, or not emails. I'm sorry. One of the press releases. I do apologize. I think this is actually the second page of that same one. I'm trying to get it to slide over because I hate when they sit like this. Hang on. There we go. Oh, that's not the one I want. Here we go. My apologies. Okay, so Silurian and PG&E are assuring the buyers of power that they won't have to pay the price of Silurian's cost until the company starts streaming power into their homes and businesses. PG&E isn't investing in the project up front, agreeing only to buy power once it's flowing, quite common in the utility business. Basically, they're going, it's saying here PG&E invested, but they really haven't. If they had invested, what Solarian would not be continuing on. It doesn't work that way. It's kind of like it's like a slap in the face almost when you're thinking about it, because it's like, why are you guys filing for bankruptcy if you're going to be generating all this money? They have I mean, like I said, the money they're putting into these things is insane. I'll show you right now. I mean, let me see. I'm trying to find it. Like I said, since it says right here, this is the Guinness solar site, solar farm. It says in August 2011, the Department of Energy issued 852 million partial loan guarantees through the federal or the Financial Institute Partnership Program to finance Genesis, a 250 megawatt parabolic through this concentrating solar power plant. It started commercial operations in April 2014. These are the check systems. These are these things to make sure it will continue to work. Imagine this: the amount we're getting now, which is basically just average 12 hours a day of sunlight, right? So these insanely large sites get 12 hours of work. That's not enough time to gather that energy and then distribute it out hundreds of miles to other places, which is where, because these farms are in the middle of the deserts. So the only feasible reason to be spending this kind of money on these mini sites from Southern California all the way to Fresno. They're scattered all through there. The only reason to have that is 100% for this technology to happen. You do not put this much money into a technology unless you know it's going to work, or know you'll at least get to that projecting energy down phase. At least, again, these farms are insane. Here's the publication from the Energy Department's website about that, 2011, guaranteeing them that money. Like I said, a lot of you guys don't like to. All right, my bad. I'll fix my mic right. All right, hopefully that's a little bit better. Okay, so a lot of you guys don't. I mean, through that time, I really talked to a lot of people that would say the same thing. You know, space, or not, or basically that when you're looking into things, finding these patents gets you nowhere. The problem I have personally with that is you don't patent something and then put it through the inventive state without reason, like without the want in the you're gonna want to use it, right? So yeah, I get patents don't 100% mean it's going on, period. But guess what? It does mean it's there. They're trying. Let me see. I think I have the solar farms right here. Let me see. Okay, so these are the solar farms. Yep. Nope, wrong one. Picked another one. Sorry, guys. I don't know where it is. Oh, I guess I don't have it up. Okay, basically, I was going to show you guys the farms, but I mean, we're going to see a bunch of those in a second anyway. This is the list of these large structures. Basically, aside for the Arizona one, but the Arizona one literally is right on the border. They actually have invested in Silurian as well, but these are the large sites in California. Again, like I said, from Fresno to Southern California, these sites are fucking megalithic. I can't find the pictures, but I'll go ahead and show you guys these sites. I mean, you can type it in for yourself. Google California's solar farms, and you'll get pictures of these. Just it looks like hundreds of yards, miles of these sites. And I'll go ahead and just share this. There we go. So, like I said, this is what you get when you're looking at them. Why isn't this working? There we go. So, yeah, these are all ones. This is solar farm is in. It's saying floating solar farms catch on in California. Floating solar energy farms like this one. This one's in China. Hang on, I'm sorry. I don't know. I was gonna say I don't think we even have those, but let me see. See if this one's here. Okay, this one is one. This is the solar farm in California. California is a leader in solar energy development, alternative energy. Yeah. So this one, okay, this one's in Argentina or Ecuador, I mean. So trying to find all the California ones. This one is in the Mojave Desert. And you see, I mean, these things are huge. This is one. This is, I think, one in Blythe, I believe. I don't remember exactly. I haven't seen this one. There's one I have seen from a distance. Let me go ahead and find the one I've seen before. And you guys can see this too. If you go to Vegas, you guys will see this one. If you obviously learn to look off into the distance. I think it's this one. Hang on. I believe it's this one, but I can't tell. It looks like this, but this isn't the look you'll get. You see it from much further away. But yeah, it looks like this. I mean, they're megalithic. Crazy how big these things are. And again, they're not just pumping that little bit of energy into a town after 12 hours. They're storing it and then sending it out. Now, with this 24-hour system, it's literally going to be a game breaker. It's going to be nonstop, never going to have to turn off their power, basically. It's going to constantly run. Downside, we're going to be paying. Here in California, you're going to be paying a lot of money, mainly because, I mean, what are you going to do? you don't have a choice. It's not like we're going to be able to say, hey, you know, we don't want that much. We don't want to do it that way. We'd rather pay this companies for that. Well, here's the problem. They're all going to go to this. They're not going to get that choice. It's not going to be like it is now, where you can get, you know, kind of solar and go kind of and also go kind of like, you know, off the grid. It doesn't work. It won't work that way. They make it very clear it won't work that way. And the main thing we got to worry about now is how much, right? Now, I'm going to go ahead and open the panel and kind of still go over the same topic. I'm pretty sure, you know, once we really get into it, it'll probably end, and we'll probably just talk about something else. But I kind of want to get your guys' opinion about how what you guys think of this space-based solar energy power, the space-based power, especially, you know, flat earthers that you just don't believe in space. It kind of is a game breaker. Again, like I told you guys, I want to look at that. I also want to look at the countries that are getting into this and why I call it a space race. Now, one of the reasons would be this. It's let me see here. There we go. It is this. What we're looking at now is a publication from Nature. It's a journal of science company, or I don't even know what you call them, but basically it has everything to do with this. Matter of fact, over the past few weeks now, they've been announcing this. China wants to be the first country to launch power stations into space that capture the sun's energy and beam it to Earth, or down to Earth. The energy of space-based stations is that they could catch the sun's energy before some of it dissipates in the atmosphere. They will also be more stable energy source and ground-based stations because they could avoid our fluctuations due to weather in some season or night. And that's basically what I was saying before, where these solar farms basically would be put to use 24/7 like they're built to be. The idea of space-based solar power stations has been around for decades. The scientists of the United States and Japan have been working on the proof of principle technologies, but the cost of launching massive industrial scale stations, which could weigh up to 1,000 tons, is a major obstacle. China is considering using 3D printing to create and construct stations in space to avoid launching the hefty weight. Basically, how soon are they going to be doing this? Silurian, and I'll show you guys, Silurian wants to do it in the next couple of years, as a matter of fact. China being a little bit behind, they plan on launching small to medium-sized stations, about 36,000 kilometers, 23,000 feet, or miles, I'm sorry, in 2001 to 2015, they want to be doing that. And along with Russia. Russia wants to get involved, but there's another catch. Because we then found out that they're building space-based weapons now. I know, right? It's against treaties. You're not allowed to. Well, so not very many people know this at all, and I had no clue until I came across it. Did you guys know that Donald Trump decided, hey, we no longer need to be on the treaty it's called the INF Treaty. Let me see if I can find this real quick. I have it on my little website. I just want to show you guys. what the problem really is now. Okay, here we are. Okay, so, guys, not sure if you knew it, but about 3-4 days ago, actually, Donald Trump decided that, hey, I no longer want to be part of the INF Treaty. The INF Treaty basically says you will not launch or build, better yet, build any medium to long range missile sites capable of launching nukes. Basically, we want to make sure you don't have the capability of sending nukes to us. So let's just sign this treaty saying no more. Don't build, start taking them down. Well, Donald Trump signed off of it. We were no longer part of the treaty. And Russia doesn't like that too well. Putin, especially. Putin has been on record saying he sees Donald Trump's decision as a threat. Putin threatens to target U.S. if deploys missiles in nearby European countries. All this stuff kind of leans towards we're not too friendly. Now, I get a lot of people believe that they're all one government and they really all just work together. But the problem is that these treaties exist. These things are real. So why is it such a big deal to these other countries when things happen? They don't have to go this far into it. But hey, Donald Trump decided he didn't want to do this anymore. The reason he said that Donald Trump left the INF Treaty was because of the space-based military. They are now basically building up a space-based military with weapons. When I say that, it's U.S., China, and Russia now feel like they need to do this.
This used to be the only place.
Hang on. They can't hear you yet. All right. What's up, Sasha? How you doing, sir?
Good.
So, anybody? I'm gonna go back into this stuff. I kind of just want to involve you guys now. I do apologize for being long-winded. You know how I am, though.
You know how you are.
Yes. How you doing, sir?
Hello.
Let me see. So, how you doing? How you doing, P. Mars? Gary?
Do you like my hair?
It does look good, P. Mars. You're looking pretty.
What's going on, sir?
Yeah. So you guys have heard me talking about the space-based military. What do you guys think?
I thought you were talking about space-based solar panels.
Yes, that's my bad.
Space.
Thank you, Gary. What do you guys think? Hang on, Sasha. You think it's not plausible?
Okay. I don't think space-based solar is possible.
Why?
Because the energy transport is too ineffective.
Right. That's what I was going to say. So what are they doing? Like
I mean, we already have
aiming at like a Tesla tower
the
from
closest-
tower to tower?
the closest you can get to. Right now, our best technology for transporting energy from space is the sun, and you're not going to beat that with space-based solar.
Right.
But that's
engineering.
But that's the
Yeah,
thing.
for
Oh,
engineering
are we going to
standpoint,
create
it
an
doesn't make
because
any
the
sense.
only way to transport it would be to create an artificial sun.
But here's the thing. You do remember, and this is a fact. Yeah, you guys obviously should know this. From the sun to here, it dissipates until it gets to us. We're not getting the full effect of the sun, right?
Well, yes, but space-based solar, that solar would mean it's even less effective.
Not, but it'd be that much closer. And
But how do you get it back to the
But you're still losing energy, Sean, because you've taken that energy and you're still losing energy from that space-based solar.
The main crux.
Yeah, how do you get it back to the planet, and how do you synchronize these
It's
solar
never
panels?
going to happen.
I'm going to tell you, and I can show you exactly how Silurian says they're going to do it. Here's the thing. I get what you're saying, but remember, because they're doing it this way, that also means it's going to be 24-hour solar. So that the give and take of it that you're thinking is going to be different. It's going to actually gain.
24 hours.
Yeah.
How about we just build some
But
batteries?
how
It
would
would
it be
be way
24
more
hours? Are they
efficient
putting
to
it in a
build batteries.
what are they
Yes,
putting it
they
in a
wanna put it in
geostationary orbit?
I'm going to show you guys right now. I'll share
It's
it on
going to
Hangout.
be...
I'm going to share it on Hangout. Hang on.
Okay.
Because especially right now, I
This
really
sounds
need to,
almost
I really need to
yeah.
share
This
it with
sounds
you guys
almost
because
as
you need to
bad
see
as the
it.
mirror. Yeah, this sounds almost as bad as the mirror one, where they're going to put a mirror, and then they were going to
And this has
deflect the
been talked
sunlight
up
back
for a
down
while,
Yeah, but
to the
see,
solar panel.
but it's not gonna happen.
that was never a plausible idea. That was just what they felt like
It's
they needed
even
to do.
it's just as bad.
No, it's
I
Well,
not.
mean,
Sean, that's what
It's
it is.
not.
It's
It's
pretty
hang
much a
on,
mirror.
hang on, because
That's what it will be.
I'm telling
Because
you.
because you're taking in the
No, see, here's the
energy
thing.
from the sun,
Here's the problem.
and then
You
you're
guys, I suggest you guys really need to like learn up on it first, because what's happening is your information is kind of off, and the idea of how they want to do it isn't that. They're not trying to reflect anything.
well, no. I'm just saying it. Even if it's space-based solar, that is in the essence a mirror, because you're taking the energy, and then you're making it the light energy. You're converting it into electricity, and then you're beaming a light down to Earth.
You're beaming RF.
you always
You're going to use RF
well,
an
you're
RF array.
right, but you're still
Radio.
losing energy in the transfer process.
It's still
You're using a
still
massive amount
bigger
because of the
loss of
distance.
energy.
But you're not losing that much energy.
Well, yeah, you will because you're
Do you know what
transferring
would
it
be
over
more
a large
efficient,
distance.
Sean?
So so here's what it says.
It would be far more efficient to take the solar from the sun in the day, store it in batteries, and then use it during the night. Because we don't really use that much energy during the night.
Okay, but here's
We
the thing.
use it during peak periods.
Okay, but here's the problem with what you're saying. You're thinking too small. Because remember, they have these solar farms, right? And the reason for these solar farms is that those are going to be built to basically supply energy to cities, right?
Hey, Sean, you know that solar, if we put solar on everybody's roof, we would have more than enough energy to power the world.
Okay, so you realize that was one of the solutions to this climate shit. Here's the problem with that. It would cost too much and it would take too much time.
This is the same thing here.
No, Sean. Actually, the issue.
Here is
Sean,
how it works.
What's the efficiency on this?
Okay, I'm trying to tell you guys.
hold on.
They've
Hold
never
on,
done
Sean,
any testing.
Sean,
They have no data.
Yeah, in Australia, they're putting up a lot of solar on homes, and the problem they're having isn't generating power; it's the infrastructure problem because you have less people actually paying electric companies to deliver them electricity.
Okay.
The
But
problem they
somebody
have
still
right
has
now
to
with solar is
maintain
that they're
the
generating
light.
too much power, and they don't have a place to store it.
Guys, I can answer each and every one of your questions, but you're throwing them at me. Stop.
No,
because
I'm
stop. Because I'm telling you guys right now, everything you guys have said, I'm sitting here trying to read off exactly the answer, and you guys will just continue. You both are wrong.
We weren't asking questions, Sean. I know
Okay.
I know. So
Okay.
I know
So
about
you said something about a mirror,
ground-based solar.
but it's not ground-based solar. It's not
No,
ground-based solar at all.
I know. I was talking about ground-based
Okay.
solar.
Now, you're saying that you can get just as much sun in the first from that's produced
did say just
into
as much.
solar on the ground as you could from space?
That's not what I said, Sean.
Okay, that's what I'm asking you though.
I said it would be more efficient
No.
to collect
Okay.
it on the ground,
Why would
store it,
Why would it be more efficient?
because you're not spending all that money maintaining and putting up a thing in space and converting energy from light to infrared and beaming it down and all this, and then
Right.
catching it, and then you lose money, and then you lose energy catching it again, and then you have
No, you
to
don't-
store
see,
it
that's the
again,
thing.
and then you have to transport it again.
That's the thing. To get it to the solar farms, they're not having to again. It will constantly transfer it because it will be in a geostationary orbit around at a distance that it will have the sun 24/7.
Sean, you're starting
Right,
to
but how's
support.
the energy
I thought you were
getting
against
from
this
the
measure,
solar?
Sean.
They
Yeah.
are going
How's
to be.
getting the energy from the solar panels
They will
to the ground?
They will use a laser beam of an RF array to shoot it to the solar farms.
And that comes at a cost.
A very high cost, in which we will be paying.
Exactly
No,
what
it
ground
costs
solar
in
is more
energy.
efficient. You were
It
your
costs in energy.
your
That's the thing.
biggest. You
The cost
said
is
that it would be
energy.
too expensive to put solar on everybody's roof, but it would be more expensive to put this thing in space.
Okay, again,
Right.
all solar on a building, all solar does when you put it on your home, when you're connected to the grid, all that does is lighten the load for them. Now,
No, Sean, you can set it up. No, you can set up if you set it up properly. You can have a battery pack system and you can live off grid.
you cannot hook a battery system up to the grid.
You don't
Yes,
have
you
to hook
can.
it up to the grid.
It's
No,
called
you
the
can't.
Tesla Power Pack.
No, you can't.
It's called the Tesla Power Pack.
Can you pull that up?
Yeah, well, I'm not on my computer right now.
Yeah,
But
there's a
just
tie-in
Tesla Power
system.
Pack. There's hundreds of people that do this.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
there's multiple tie-in
you understand?
systems. Where
Okay.
you tie
So
in,
how much power goes into a home in one day?
I don't know.
it depends on the house.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so how are you talking efficiency if you don't even know how much can go into a home compared to how much will go to these solar farms?
Well, let's
Well, the,
find out.
the efficiency problem is the transferring of energy from point A to point B. The
About
distance
10% of the energy moves on.
Okay, well, right here it says the sun's radiant energy is approximately 1,365 watts per square meter in Earth's orbit. In geostationary Earth orbit, which is approximately 22,300 miles above Earth's equator, a solar power satellite is immersed in sunlight 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Solar
And how
array,
big would this thing be?
it will be. I have to look again. Solar array on a solar power satellite converts the solar power into energy. The electricity. Electricity is converted to a radio frequency power and transmitted to Earth receiving station. The ground receive antennas convert the RF power directly into electricity and transmits it to customers via the electrical grid. Okay.
Okay.
So basically,
this thing-
they're
What's a
not.
Tesla
So here's the thing:
pack?
they're not going to be using power plants that would cost an extravagant amount of money per year. Because only
No, don't
it's
use
not,
power plants.
What?
I'm not for power plants either, Sean.
Okay, well, this is they're building a solar power, 100% solar power plant.
Okay, sounds great.
That's what a solar farm
Sign me up.
is, isn't it? Isn't that what a solar farm is?
Right, but you have something other. I mean, you have wind farms as well. I mean,
Okay.
it's
Yes.
Here-
So
and here's
Sean,
the
you're
thing.
saying
Here's the
these
problem.
numbers.
Here's the
You're
problem.
saying okay,
hang on,
Sean.
Tesla, hang on. Because just like I said with the other ones, you do realize that. So, for instance, here in California, and I'm not sure how it works there. Correct me if I'm wrong. We have one electric power provider, SDG&E. So we have to get our power from them. At what point
Don't
do I?
have to.
Yeah,
Oh,
who else do you
damn.
get it from?
Really?
Who else do you get it from then? Yes, in Southern
You
California.
can get it from the sun.
Again, if you're off the grid, you have to get a permit to live off grid. You know that, right?
Yeah, I'm in Texas.
Because when you
That's in
because
California.
Sasha,
I'm in Texas.
Sasha,
We have multiple.
Yeah, but it's
power
still-
companies.
Sasha,
then
you're not understanding
it's
because when you move
possible
into a
that-
house, listen, when you move into a house, you have to have electricity hooked up to that house. When you go live in a house, if you take yourself off the grid, at some point you will get a visit from your electrical company asking why you're off the grid, and if you do not go back on, they will fine you for it. You
No,
cannot.
they won't.
Who?
Well,
And
that's-
this is in California.
Where are you getting this,
Yes.
Sean? That's
California.
nonsense.
Look it up. Look it up.
Show me.
I was going to say because in Texas, no, you got more than one retail
Yep. You see,
electric
and that's what I'm
provider.
trying to tell you
You got
guys.
way more than one.
That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Here in California, does not work that way, and it sucks,
They can't.
but it is.
They can fine you for living off grid.
Yes.
I don't
Welcome.
believe that because there's plenty of people who live in tiny
They do-
homes.
They do
Welcome
it
to
all-
California.
You have to get a permit. No matter where, I don't care where you live. You have to be permitted to live. You can't just pull up to an area of land and just live there. You're not allowed to do that.
You are if you own the land.
Nope, because you've already permitted that land. You've already paid for that land. So that's not the same thing. That's not living off grid like that. You pay for your land. You therefore. So when you live on a farm out in the mountains, it's not the same as living near a grid.
I don't get what you're trying to say, Sean.
Okay.
Living off grid means you're not connected.
And to
You're not
do that,
reliant
you have
on.
to pay. You have to pay for that. You do not just get to live off the grid free. It does not work that way.
No, as long as you
It might
own the
not- I don't
land,
know.
owning the
I don't
land
know.
and
That's
buying
in California.
electricity
I
is
couldn't tell you.
completely different. They're unrelated,
Okay,
Sean.
They have, in that situation, if you live in the city, for instance, to move into a place, you have to have electricity. You have to have an electrical provider. I don't
Do
know
you?
if that's how it works in where you guys live, but you have to. You do not get to move into a place until you have.
I'm sure if
No,
you. No,
yeah,
so my
in
apartment's
Texas, if
set
you
up.
want to live in your house with candles and a wood burning stove, you can. Nobody's stopping you.
You won't get an electricity bill. You'll have an electrical provider where you're not going to get a bill. You can turn that electricity off, and you won't get a bill in your life.
Go turn. Ask your parents if it's okay. Go turn the power off in your house and see how long it takes for this electric company to come out there.
What do you mean? Are you talking about? You must be talking about California because in Texas they don't care.
I'm telling you right now. What I'm saying
The
is
only thing you'll get is a
100%.
bill for
Yeah,
$5
I'm telling you right
because that's
now.
how much it costs to keep a meter on your house.
I'm telling you right now. 100%. I am talking only California because I don't know anywhere else. Here in California, you have to have an electricity provider before
Show
you're
me the
allowed to
law.
even move in your home.
Show me that law.
And I'm pulling it up. And it
Are you
kind of
sure if it is
It better
that
be
a
from the
city
state
ordinance or a state
website.
ordinance? Is that a state or is that a city ordinance?
it's a state.
What kind of ordinance is this? It better be like state law or something.
Because I know some cities have some crazy
Also, on the solar
ordinances.
thing, you were against it at the beginning of the stream, but now you're starting to yell as if you're for it. The space-based solar.
No, I'm not.
But
No,
what
no, no. I'm not arguing for it. What I'm arguing is it? Is it possible? Is it going to happen? And what? And my dislike
But
of it.
what I was saying.
My dislike of it is because if, say, Arizona, California, Nevada all buy into it, it's going to be the same thing. Where that's why I don't know there. But here,
Can I talk?
we have one energy provider, SDG&E. If SDG&E buys into that, which they already have because they are part of California, pays them basically. It all runs the same grid, which means we will have to, our bills, will go up.
Okay, can I say one thing?
Yep.
I don't think it's possible because if you go, you know how big a solar farm is, correct?
Yep.
Have you ever you've driven past solar farms?
Yep.
Try putting one of those in space, because you need at least one of those in order to run all of California on space.
See, that's the thing. The fact that it's 24 hours, and yes, these panels are going to be large. The difference is that you're sending it. If you're sending that energy to one place, source A to B, that's it. It's not the same thing as sending it to A, then sending it to A, B, C, D in different directions. The further out, it's going to dissipate that energy. So when you send it out to multiple areas, you lose a lot more, which is why it's more plausible than just a solar farm, because now you're not sending 12 hours of energy out, you're sending 24 hours worth of energy out.
Okay, but the scaling it, it would be you'd have to put at least one solar farm up there, and that would be a lot of solar to put in space.
But yeah,
That's
you're right.
And then imagine all the space debris hitting that.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of money. It's going to be maintenance. All the things they talk about.
Yeah. So you're making it sound like it's way more efficient, but when you look at the technicalities, it's really not. It's costs a lot more. Maybe efficiency, as in like pure efficiency, yes. But efficiency also takes into account cost. And this would cost more than ground-based solar. And
again, if it was a situation where they didn't know if they were going to make the money, it'd be one thing. But I don't know about your companies. And I don't know if it works. I'm almost positive it works with your companies this way. I'm pretty sure no matter what you want, they can hike your bill up to whatever they want. Am I right?
Yep.
Gary?
Well, the people will complain. They'll go to the city. You can make them take the bill down.
Well, if California, the Energy Commission for California, the state, buys into this, you understand that then who do you complain to?
Yeah, I stay in Texas, and we actually
complain to the
own power.
state
We're a little
government.
bit different. We're not on like a co-op like other states. So
You can literally impeach your governor and then get a new one.
Yeah, but see, you're Sasha. I love your spirit, man,
Yeah,
but
me
it
too.
does not
I love
work
it.
that way. It
It
doesn't, man.
does if enough people are angry, that's how it will work.
I'm sorry, my friend. And I hate to say it, the age thing is plays a huge factor right now. I'm telling you, it does not work that way. In theory, it does, 100%.
Technically, it does. Yes.
If
Yeah,
enough
technically
people
it
are
does.
mad
Yeah,
and write
but
to the governor, then yeah, that's gonna change.
well, you know what it takes to do that.
What?
You know what
It just takes a bunch of people writing to the governor and protesting.
what?
So I found an article. Is living off the grid now a crime? It's actually a little old article from 2012. Depending on where you live, the answer could be yes. In fact, a growing number of cities and county zoning agencies around the world are implementing ordinances to crack down on off-grid living, in many cases making it a crime. So from Costilla County, Colorado, trying to ban people from building off-grid homes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, that is the case. It seems. I don't know what it's like in California, but yeah,
It's just as bad.
I've heard of that. I've heard of that as well. I've heard them making it illegal. But what the Tesla system does is it doesn't. I'm not sure if it completely disconnects you from the grid. What it does though is it just gives you a battery in the house. Your solar panels charge batteries during the day, and during the night you use the battery power.
And this is totally legal, and I know this because I know several. There are several YouTubers that live in California, and they have these exact systems in place, and they pay pennies.
Okay.
They pay pennies to their
But
grid.
here's the thing. One person to the grid is nothing. All you are when you do your all this solar shit it's not real solar until you're off grid. All you're doing is easing this power supply for the companies. That's it.
No.
Okay, so
you are.
That's what you're doing.
You literally have to order a meter that goes on your house that runs backwards once your solar, depending on your usage, and it causes solar
How many people
backwards.
How many people do you believe are using these systems?
What do you mean in Texas or?
Let's just say,
very few right now.
let's say in 1.5 million people, I'd say personally less than 5%.
Less than 1%.
Think even better.
It's probably less than that.
Yeah, all you're doing
much less.
again. That means to them pennies to them. That ain't shit. They're not losing money. They're easing their systems. That's it.
Well, that's because solar is expensive.
Well, again, they're easing their systems. It's not expensive because you don't pay. You're not. If you can get it live off the grid with an efficient system, you're not paying for it. That's the whole catch of it. The problem is that you can't make a battery efficient enough. Not yet.
Solar panels.
No,
Solar panels are not very efficient.
Yeah, solar
panels are not efficient. Batteries are not efficient.
Yeah, and I think Australia is the only people that have ever made a decent one, but that's still not enough.
No, solar panels. You need a lot of solar panels, and they're expensive. To get a half decent 300-watt solar panel will run you almost $300 to $400.
Oh no! Way more. Way more.
That's one. No, listen. That's one panel, and you may need a dozen of them.
Well, the Tesla solar roof.
Oh yeah, don't even talk about that thing. That thing is like what, $40,000?
No, it's apparently it's a similar price when you cost it out over 5-10 years, same price as a regular roof. That's what I've been reading. The other one is
No, the solar roof.
Okay,
no.
You
It depends on what kind of roof. It depends on what kind of roof you put on your house and where you live. But no, that
true.
roof is.
But according to them, that's how they're marketing it. If their marketing is wrong, it won't sell, so it'll fail. The other thing is, I just wanted to mention that there was I had a spate of watching a documentary every single day, and one of them I watched. I just remembered it. It's called The Energy Revolution, a VPRO documentary from 2012, and they're talking about a Danish. There's an area in Denmark where the people have gone basically solar and wind power, so they've gone essentially off the grid. Very interesting documentary. It's called the Energy Revolution, VPRO, if you want to look it up.
Say again, what was
They
it?
could- they could-
VPRO?
VPRO documentary 2012, The Energy Revolution. I watched that last year sometime. I don't remember much about it. I'm watching a bit of it now. That looks really nice. That will actually look really cool. But I think the point is just to have a diversity in energy solutions. That's a great. Okay, that was a great sentence. But yeah, the idea that we just get off using things like nuclear power and coal power and oil and all that sort of messy stuff, and get onto using something a lot more clean, which is sun. So, I mean, I can't see what would be wrong with it if they don't succeed. I mean, if solar and if they don't succeed, I'd be surprised, because you wouldn't have that many smart people involved in it if it was doomed to fail due to inefficiency. I mean, would you?
Yeah, and also a big factor of this is, and again, the title, there are multiple countries with plans to launch these things within the decade.
Yep. China being the principal one.
China's the big one right now. China has said, "Hey, we're by 21 they want to launch their first medium-sized station."
Yeah, I think they just start small, see how it goes, see if it's feasible. I would, if I had a few $1 billion, I'd definitely back one of those companies.
Isn't it the same thing that kind of got Tesla in trouble with his tower? Is that he was trying to beam electricity without wires?
Nikola Tesla?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what. Yeah, I remember. I actually watched a documentary about him as well. But that was about 2 years ago, so I don't remember much. Yeah, he didn't get very far. I don't think he had the efficiency down. It was just one guy doing it.
Well, I mean, it's kind of being implemented now with the like the wireless charging on your phone, but
yeah, but that's short distance. That's
right. That's super short distance.
Yeah.
The problem with sending it through the air is once again you lose a lot of energy during the transfer
it
process.
would be very, very interesting to see how Silurian manages to. I mean, seriously, if they have, it doesn't look like a small company. They've got some serious people.
Oh yeah, they're
as key advisors, and they've got a good business model. Looks like. I don't know. What do I know? But
yeah, they're huge.
Yeah.
Where's it? I saw it.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm naive, but I don't think they would have that much invested in it if it was, the physics of it didn't add up. That's just me. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I can show you videos of people who built like a Tesla coil and they're pulling down small bits of energy, but it's mainly from like radio signals and everything.
Yeah.
It would be similar.
I love the idea. Actually, I really love the idea of beaming power from space. That would be brilliant.
It trips me out. When I found out, I didn't realize it was quite that
fantastic.
advanced. And
I think it's cool. It's Star Trek. It's like, why are we still using oil and coal? Pity's sake, it's the 21st century. Come on.
But then here's the second factor to this. What happens when you realize that this same technology then can also be used as a weapon?
Well, so can a car.
No, but
Well,
as a military
That was
weapon.
tried. Yeah, I mean, I was being tried there, but yeah, I mean,
But
of course.
okay,
Of
so
course.
that is actually the next step of this problem that's going on with this whole Silurian space-based solar power, because China and Russia are now talking. Well, if Trump is planning to start launching weapons, then why can't we start putting making these our weapons too?
I don't know. People worry about stuff like it. It's the same thing as with Reagan and Gorbachev. I mean,
Yeah, they've been trying
really,
to
really
make
need to
a
worry.
space laser for I don't know how long.
Yeah, but
They're not going to.
But see, that's the thing. That it could be used the same way. The fact that how it's being beamed back down, that can still do damage. It can still be used as a weapon.
Yep.
And that's actually what this whole leaving the INF Treaty, Putin feeling as being a threat, that all plays into a part. That's all has everything to do with this whole launching of space-based or solar power.
Right, but Putin's reaction is a political reaction.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't react in that way, and if the Chinese leaders, whatever other leaders, don't react in that way, then they'll be seen as weak. So
Yes.
that is purely a political reaction. It's not as if he's about ready to construct some mad weapons. Remember, they had exactly this sort of situation with Reagan and Gorbachev. There was this power play. Each of them were butting heads. I mean, yeah, we've had the ability to blow up the whole planet to smithereens for how long now?
Yeah, but see, here's the thing, because this happened a couple days ago. Trump is very adamant, because he left that INF treaty. He's very adamant about having the weapons in space.
He may know something we don't know.
Yeah, it's so. I'll share it right now. This is another article that came out just a couple days ago on the topic. U.S. Space Force step up towards militarizing space. Basically, in this article, it's talking about how Trump's plan is to separate the Space Force from the regular agency, or military, and start producing weapons, start militarizing space.
Right.
It says the U.S. National Intelligence Strategy Report issued last month says Russia and China will continue to pursue a full range of anti-satellite weapons as a means to reduce U.S. military effectiveness and overall security.
Yep.
So I get, like, what you said about Putin is 100% right, but it's like it's definitely more than just because he left the treaty. It's definitely more. It's Trump's literally taking shit too far as I'm concerned. That those treaties are the reason why people can walk around going, I know Russia and America are never going to fight. Go ahead.
It's the MAD principle, right? Mutually assured destruction. We've had that for so long without these weapons. So I don't think Trump. You may question Trump's, you may question his logic or whatever, but I don't think the guy's insane or is happily walking into a war situation. I don't think so at all.
Wouldn't you say that as an example, we agreed we'd start destroying a lot of the nuclear warheads that we had, Russia and the United States. But at the same time, they didn't say we had to get rid of all of them, basically saying, just for you guys feel safe, each side would feel safe, they still had some. And I think that's where what we all know the relationship to be. I think now when you add this extra element to it, it will probably change that, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, no. Again, I don't know. We can move on. We're just restating our.
Yeah. But I was just putting that out there because for me, it feels like, hey, we should probably be worried.
We should. I don't know, because each leader comes along, and there's a certain number of people who believes he's the Antichrist, and there's a certain number of people he's mad. They think he's going to be. He got in office specifically to destroy the whole world, etc., etc., etc. That's never the case, and it never has been the case. I don't think it's the case here. At the very most, we've got 2024. At the very most, if Trump wins another election, we got another. Wait!
Don't you ever say that again, ever? That would be a nightmare.
It's entirely feasible. You thought there was going to be a second Clinton presidency. Yeah, but here's the thing about politics. I don't mind talking about politics because I can't get really offended. Everyone thinks that their side is glorious and noble, and the other side is evil. It's funny. So if I think that my side is glorious and triumphant, and your side is evil, then you think the same about mine. So what's the truth, really?
It's kind of it's almost it's like almost a guarantee, never-ending battle. But it's both sides have an opinion. Both sides are pretty much right. Both, and they're also pretty much wrong.
Clement Attlee ran against Winston Churchill after the war, or during the war, I can't remember. Winston Churchill said he was a sheep in sheep's clothing.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought that was funny.
Yeah, but I mean, it's definitely an. I guess what my main purpose of this stream would if I had to put it into words would be, isn't how isn't how efficient it is, yet it's happening. It's going to happen.
Is it?
It, would they?
Is it
Okay,
really?
how about
Yeah,
this?
that's
How
true.
would
Is
they?
it
Okay,
really?
I guess there's only one way to know because they wouldn't launch one piece of equipment up there unless it was going to happen, right?
What did they launch?
No. I'm not saying they launched anything yet. I'm saying that would be the turning point. That would be where everything goes from paper to actual.
If they launch something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've said
But
it. I've said it numerous times. I mean, for the past year now, I believe that SpaceX, whatever the heck you call them, those are doing so many missions. Yes, to take stuff up there, but it's mainly to get this whole launching and coming back thing, like numerous rapidly. Get used to it doing it. I think is what they're doing.
Yeah. When Musk started SpaceX, he first of all he thought it was going to fail, but then the idea was it's just getting into space is very, very expensive, and so his goal basically was to make it more efficient, more, renewable, or reusable rockets and stuff like that. He's done a good job of that. So
Yeah, well, I know
yeah,
a few years ago, the numbers were 150 million per launch, and and I know that they've been trying. China and Silurian have been trying to figure out ways to lower that cost.
yeah,
So I mean, yeah, the launches that's definitely a fact. Put it this way: when Silurian and I first found out about this, Silurian was saying it would take 40 to 50 launches to get this built and up there. Now they're trying to do it in 4 to 6.
4 to 6?
Yeah.
That's not gonna happen.
Well, they're smarter than me. They're smarter than we.
Well, unless they're counting on the SpaceX's Super Heavy to be ready by then.
Say again?
Unless they're counting on using SpaceX's Super Heavy.
Why not? That maybe
That would probably be the only rocket big enough by the time they want it.
That's maybe why the number changed from so many to so little. Maybe the way they figured the technology would need to be up there, they changed. I mean, the thing is that I see what you're saying with efficiency. The issue I would be having is that I don't know if you're countering the fact that it's 24 hours and closer. And I get it. They're definitely gonna lose energy in the process of transferring it. But at the same time, I mean, imagine how great real solar energy is, panels, battery, and all is. I'm pretty sure they see it the same way. They're not having to generate this energy anymore. That costs a lot of money.
I just read this. The shuttle program. I loved the shuttle. Oh my word! The shuttle program. Each launch cost $1.5 billion.
Mm-hmm. And here's another thing people didn't know. I don't know about now because I don't really look. Unfortunately, I haven't really kept my eye on how NASA's running. But the Columbia shuttle, that shuttle was, I'd say, 75 to 80% funded by the military, with the guides of, hey guys, anytime we need something to go into space, that shuttle better be ready. That shuttle better be able to fit it and be ready for launching. And I didn't know that until I read it. It's an article. It's called. If you Google search it, you'll find it. The relationship between NASA and the DoD.
Right.
But through the Apollo, all those years, the military had a very involved role in the building of the shuttles. I don't know what you're doing. I think it's got to be you, Sasha.
Houston.
But you are. All we hear is static and moving around. Sit still. All right. So, like I said, it's definitely an issue. Again, the efficiency of it, they talk about as it being things are figured out. Again, I believe it. It's kind of like doubting everything to say technology will never. Almost impossible to say that.
Yeah, we shouldn't. I don't want to tell people what to say, but you really shouldn't say, "Oh, that's impossible."
Yeah. and then when it comes to again this topic of, I do suggest everybody go check this out because it's. I mean, regardless of if it's happening now, or if it be efficient, they're busting. I mean, countries are busting their asses right now to get it up there, and with that does play along the role of a military weapon with it. I don't know if they're. I'm not saying anybody said they're going to use it. Maybe Trump did. I don't know, but I suggest everybody look it up. Now to kind of switch scales a little bit, because here's the thing. Because I was doing this topic, and like I said, I was kind of thinking, and I sat down, I thought about this. At what height at a certain height shouldn't you see the sun all 24 hours if it was flat? And we're not talking deep space. You should only.
What's up? What's good?
You should
What's
only,
good, everybody?
What's
up?
Seek and Find? I'm happy you came in, man.
Hey,
You reminded me. Okay, so at 100,000 feet, shouldn't you see the sun 24/7 on a flat Earth?
On a sphere, you have to be pretty far out.
Well, I'm taking on a flat Earth.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, because I think
Say what, Sean? Say it again.
I believe you have to be. What? I think it's 1,000 miles or no, a little bit less. About 1,000. No, because it's 1,000 miles. You would see almost the whole of half Earth. So.
And when I first started looking at this, the flat Earth idea, the first thing I wanted to know was why. Well, initially, people were saying that the moon was inside the dome and the sun's inside the dome.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happened was there was a change in the. I'm sorry to use this word. In the narrative, what they were saying essentially changed as soon as people figured out that. I mean, me and a lot of other people were saying, well, wait a second, if nobody went to the moon, but the moon is close and inside the dome, then why couldn't they reach the moon? And so it was about 2 years ago when the narrative changed to the moon is not a thing you can land on. And then it altered a little bit from there on. But essentially the idea was that the moon was about 3,000 miles. And that's probably how high the dome would be. So I don't know how high you'd have. Well, yeah, I don't know. With no real model, it's very difficult to say what.
And that's that was one of the issues I had as a flat earther, because before I became a flat earther, I'd actually, like I said, my main research, the thing I cared the most about is weather modification. So I go to a lot of sites. I talk to a lot of people that are really deep into that, and I was at privy to find out that here within miles of my house, or not where I'm living now, when I lived in the mountains, within 10-15 minutes, was a direct laser site, which is basically.
You talking about HARP? What you talking about?
No. It's actually a. What do you call it? They're astronomers, basically run it, I guess. Astronomy company. I don't know what you call them, but basically what was happening was they go there and they use that laser to bounce off the moon.
Yeah.
And
Apache Point.
Yeah, go ahead.
Apache Point Observatory.
Yes.
The Apache Point Observatory in New Mexico.
Yes. Well, there's one well, see, that's why when I found out about this, I actually went there. I thought that's the only place that can find the Apollo reflectors, but you can still bounce a laser off the moon.
So everybody up here on the panel thinks we landed on the moon?
No,
everybody.
I have not convinced myself of that yet. But that's, like I said, I don't get it yet. I don't see how a few things are possible. But it may change because, and I've probably said this before. I actually have an upload that I've been working on, where I'm trying not to get rid of any of the footage. But basically, I had a conversation with a buddy of Soundly's, who's just engulfed, like he's a Apollo fanboy basically, and it was a 2-hour conversation, and just hearing the things you don't get to hear on a regular basis about how that went, it really opens your eyes to why it sounds almost unbelievable, because you don't know about a lot of the stuff he talks about. He's an engineer. Right. It's going to be a great upload. Again, that's the only reason I haven't put it out yet, because I want to make sure it's good, because.
So he can explain it better than, like, say, a documentary that, say, NASA would put out on their own mission.
Yep, and I can tell you why. Because a documentary has a set.
It don't make sense.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you why. because a documentary has a set amount of time to give you a certain amount of energy in a certain amount of time. NASA only cares about you so much to give you only enough energy, enough information so they can continue on what they want to do. But someone who lived through that time, was into that stuff, can tell you all the things that were going on. To me personally, when in that interview, that little conversation, with no schedule of time, no intentions, just letting you know what's going, just having a conversation, and that's different. You get a different story through all three.
Okay, so even after seeing that, what your friend had, you still don't. You say you still like 50-50 on if they landed on the moon or not?
Yeah. Only because
why is that?
Because as I understand the technology and the means of doing it, it's able to become more clear how they did it. Again, there are still things that I have questions on and don't seem plausible to me. But again, that's because I don't understand it.
Like what? I want you to expound on that.
Just
like what?
The whole slingshot, the whole lunar lander, and the getting back together and then getting back here all at the same time. That kind of stuff is seems to be a problem, but I've been explained a lot enough to understand why and how these things work. I just need to accumulate the rest of the facts to come to a conclusion. That's what.
All right, man. I mean, so you buy into like the
no. I don't. No, wait. I don't buy into anything. Again, I do not.
You will have to believe it, though.
No, you don't.
It's not a belief, it's a fact.
You say
facts and beliefs are different.
What's the facts, Chelsea?
When you say, hang on. When you say buy into it, you're saying, so you just believe it because they said it. No. I told you. The reason I don't still is because I still haven't I don't completely have an understanding of how it said they did it. Once I get to that,
I don't want to argue. I don't want to argue with
y'all.
I ain't arguing. I'm just putting that out there. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I think we've got a really good balanced panel here.
Oh yeah.
We have. I just put my cards on the table. I don't believe any conspiracies except. I don't think Oswald shot Kennedy. I think 9/11 is a bit suspicious.
So that's one, right?
That's two.
Is 9/11? You think something suspicious there? So that's one that you quote unquote buy into.
No,
but see, you got to stop saying buy into though.
Okay, use another terminology, whatever terminology you want to use for it. Something fishy is going on.
Okay.
That's one of them where something fishy is going on.
I would say it's very, very having looked at some of the information on Kennedy, very difficult for me to accept that a lone guy with the gun that he had could shoot that distance. That's just my thing.
Okay, so there's two. So you got Kennedy, right?
Yeah.
The moon, right? That's two, right?
No, we landed on the moon. There's only.
Oh, so you think we landed on the moon? Okay.
No, I don't think so. But okay, so the thing with Kennedy is that's my reasoning. I don't think he could have done it. 9/11, just there's a lot of people who are very convinced, and
well, how do you feel about 9/11?
They have some good points. But the problem is, it's the whole topic is awash with all different crazy ideas that has been disproven. So, it's difficult. So I don't pay too much attention to it because nothing I can do about it anyway. So.
Well, that's not okay, man.
9/11, it just, with me, it's why would the government drive two planes into two of the most important buildings and kill a bunch of people?
So you want me to tell you why they would do something instead of just observing the evidence that obviously points to something nefarious?
What evidence?
So in the case of like 9/11? Is that what you're saying?
I haven't seen any evidence that says it's fake.
Well, see, if it was fake, you can't ask why did the government do it.
Yeah,
personally for me, I believe it was a false flag. I don't think the government had a damn thing to do with the planning of it, or the people that did it. I think they had a very good intel saying it would happen, and they went, well, if we get attacked, we will have a way in. And that's a very, very crude reason, okay?
What?
I have a crude explanation for my reason.
even if they had intelligence on it and let it happen, man, are you okay with that? Is that
No,
something
no.
that
Wait,
you?
whoa, dude. I say it's an inside job. That is not okay.
Oh, okay. So
But this
I'm
whole
struggling to understand why
but
you would continue to trust an
because
entity that would do something like
there's
that.
reality of it is it's not about trust.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
It isn't about
It has
trust.
nothing to do with
It isn't.
trust.
I trust
You
my
have-
government to not come to my house at night and kill me.
Yeah.
I trust
have
my
no-
government to
Yeah.
send my mail.
Yeah.
And
It's
not
not about trust.
and
You
not
trust your government.
lose it.
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
I trust my government to patrol
You're-
the skies and make sure I don't die when I get on an airplane.
You're literally
You trust
putting
your
too
government.
much.
I trust my police to come when I call them and not
Well,
and
wait, Sasha. Don't do
situation.
that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Do you
Call
trust
in
them to
and
have
hope
your
they get
best
there.
interests in mind? Do you trust them to do that?
I do.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Me too.
Because otherwise,
Me too, so do you.
if they didn't have
So
my
do you,
best
that's-
interest in mind,
Even
then
after
we'd be
even
in the
after the
middle of a Great
knowledge, even
Depression.
after the knowledge of what you know about, like something
Okay,
nefarious
I got
happening.
this.
Like
Okay,
you admit
hey,
that, right?
Hey, Seeking's fine. A question: Have your parents ever lied to you? I don't need to know why. Just a yes or no.
Every man is a liar, probably.
Okay,
You know,
so then
everybody living.
should you trust nobody? You're
I
married.
mean, you're
right?
bringing
Wait,
it. You're bringing it
married,
to a
right?
point where
You're married,
okay.
right? You're married.
So
You're married.
so let
Hang
them
on,
let them do what they
See,
want,
Are
right?
you married?
Just let them do what they
hang on,
want.
Are
Right?
you married?
That's
Are you married?
What?
Are you
Get
married?
to your point. Get to your point.
If you're married, I'm assuming you trust your wife. So how do you trust? Like you're making this whole trust thing the issue. It has nothing to do with it. The information I get and my beliefs ultimately come from my evidence that I've gotten from someone.
I mean, we was going down the line right there, and so far, every single one y'all say that something ain't right. So just stop me when.
Well, first of
you
all,
know,
you should remember I'm a conspiracy theorist.
how many times you gonna keep lying that trust into them?
Wait,
How many
again,
times are you gonna keep giving them that
you're
trust?
saying that the things that I believe are going on are based on me
Do
trusting them.
y'all think y'all live in an evil world? Do y'all think this is an evil world?
Do you know things,
Yes.
or do you only believe
of
things?
course.
Yeah, I know things.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
and I
then
believe things.
We'll
I
understand.
both.
Okay. But we do not. You're making it like we only believe things.
That's not true.
Yeah, you are. Because you're saying you're going to continue to trust them. It's not about trust. The things that I believe happen or believe are going on are based on the evidence I can gather myself. Otherwise, you just need to sit there scared off your ass in a corner somewhere, hoping your government does not walk in your door in 2 minutes and shoot you.
Yeah, if you really didn't trust your government, you'd be in a hole in the ground in North Dakota with armed to the teeth. But you trust your government because you're sitting at home on your computer or on your phone, happily talking about government conspiring to hurt us. Okay, using your landline, using your phone that they could easily trace.
Right.
If you really were afraid of your government, you would not ever do what you're doing right now.
I'm small fish, man. There's a lot bigger
Doesn't
things
matter.
going on right now
Doesn't-
than me
okay.
talking to y'all
Hey,
with
you know
like
what?
15 people watching.
Okay, and exactly.
Well-
So then why would they put so much emphasis on making me believe something?
Okay, so let's talk about this space
Better
thing
yet,
that you got in the title twice.
Why would they even
Okay,
care
so
about? Why would they care about me?
How
period?
important to you is them doing these space missions and launching rockets endlessly like this? How important is that to y'all?
It's extremely
Because
important because California
Why?
Energy Company is the company planning to do this, which means
Come
my
on, man.
bill
So
is
you-
going to.
so they need to go to
it
space
means
to-
my
to
bill
have-
will be increasing. That's why it means so much to me.
okay, man.
What? Go ahead.
All right.
People are going to do that. Human beings are wired to that. We are hardwired to do that. We're hardwired to. We see a mountain.
So
let's climb it.
so when
We
they
see
went
a
and
desert,
landed
let's
on the
walk
moon,
through it.
what was the purpose of that? What was the
Getting
end
there
game?
getting there before the Russians got there.
If I
They would
okay,
have been beaten. Sputnik beat them. Gagarin beat them. The first
Okay, so
woman in
now what?
space
So now
was
what?
Russian.
okay.
So now they get to say the first man landed on the moon
See,
is American.
and to
There's
me,
an American
Okay,
flag.
so now
I
what?
think it was different.
So what we
I
doing
think,
now?
I think if they did go to the moon, I'm not saying they did. Period. I would believe, and I've read stories where basically the space race wasn't just to land on the moon. It was basically who can get there and develop a military base. Because for the same reason as this space-based solar power thing is going on with the rays and all that stuff, that would be a prime spot to launch something, have time for it to get there without being detected, and you basically
Military base on the moon.
you'd have to use less trajectory or less thrust power. It
So
costs a
you
lot.
said a military base. What do you mean?
Yeah,
Where?
no,
Military base
I've not
where?
heard that one.
What I just
I
said
haven't heard
is
that one.
so hypothetically story based.
Okay.
I'm not saying I have any evidence. It's just stories I've heard about it, and it does make sense in a story about it. But I'm not saying it's any factor about it, any facts about it at all.
I don't know. A military base on the moon. You know, I mean, it's
Oh, it's
400,000 kilometers away.
it's extremely far fetched, but it would make sense in the hemp world. You know, the ICBMs.
I don't know. It could-
But like I said, there's no facts behind it at all. There is zero.
believe me, I love the idea of a moon base. I think we should have had one already. I think they should have. I think they should have left like a structure on the moon.
Well,
Apollo should have built something. I really do.
Yeah, they're just pissing in the wind with
Well,
our money, right?
Seek
That's what they're doing, right?
Seek and Find is not going
Yeah.
to like this one, but
No,
China.
He's right though. He's right. They
No,
are.
well,
they are
here's
doing
the
that.
thing.
They're throwing money away.
China has also stated in these press releases about their launches about with this stuff, they've actually said they also are doing it because, hey, when we decide to send people to Mars, they'll need a way to have power. If that happens, that is going to be the only way for a very long time to
Yeah,
get
but
power
realistically, Sean,
He's absolutely right there. It really was.
realistically though, like how put a time limit on when you think that's going to happen.
there.
Okay.
100 years. 100 years, I could.
So
see
not
them-
in your
I could-
lifetime.
I could see them in 100 years going, I think we should try to send someone to Mars. And that's
So you don't think there's
I don't
more
think-
important issues? See, because I would be
I don't know.
all for the space stuff. Look, listen to me.
Okay.
I would be all for it.
See, here's
If
the
we
thing, you're
had
not-
stuff down here, look, listen, yo.
Okay,
If we
go
had
ahead.
stuff down here taken care of, if everybody was good, if it wasn't all this fighting and wars going on, and everything was kind of copacetic, then we can further and go and worry about stuff like that. See, but they sell you that this overpopulation and and global warming and stuff like that to sell this space like we got to do this shit right now. That shit is not important.
Okay.
We do
Now,
not.
what about-
We're wasting a bunch of money
What if you add
to
this
go to
factor?
space to do what? Like,
What
what
if-
have we
okay.
accomplished
What if you
since
add-
quote unquote landing on the moon?
What if you add this
we haven't
factor?
accomplished anything.
What if you add?
And-
hang on, see. What if you add
You
this
landed on the
factor?
moon.
We're talking millions
Okay.
of dollars here.
What if you add this factor to it? Those same systems in space that we're talking about for the power, and if we need to transmit power to Mars, they've also stated if there's an asteroid in trajectory to us, that will be able to take it out. Wouldn't that be good?
Hypothetically speaking, if all of that crap that you just said would happen, it's like show it to me. I mean, look, listen.
No,
for real.
wait. Do you think?
No,
do you
because
really
what I
think-
just said,
do
you just kind of
think-
bypassed
hang
and
on.
asked me a different
Do you
question.
think
John.
they would tell
You didn't
us?
answer my question.
Because
was-
the reality of it is that you're trying to you want me to answer a question differently than how I think.
It's just a simple question.
It's not a simple question. I don't think that way.
Do you believe that we are wasting money with space travel and stuff? Do you believe that? I just want to know what you think.
I'm honest.
Is it a waste of money or not?
I think I don't know because is learning about the
See,
thing.
I mean, just have an opinion, man.
Let me answer.
Like, have an opinion.
I am. I'm giving you one. An opinion. My opinion is I don't know. Based on, I don't know if how much the information they're retrieving from all these missions is giving them back. Let's just say there is an asteroid coming this way. They're not going to tell us. Why? Because do you understand what will happen if everyone knew that shit? It would be pandemonium. Everyone would flip out.
Maybe everybody would grab each other's hands and pray and sing Kumbaya before.
No,
well, you know what?
motherfuckers would start
Hey,
looting.
hold on. So how much time you got if an asteroid is
Don't
coming? How
do
much
that.
time you
Nope.
got? You ain't got
See,
much time,
now,
right?
Hey, you're
Wait.
doing something. You can't ask me that. And you know that.
Independence Day.
You know you can't ask me that. You can't ask me that. That's messed up, man. It literally.
Have
But
you
that's
seen
reality.
Independence Day?
Yeah.
Y'all can answer that question too on the panel. Do y'all think space is a waste of money or not? I just want to know.
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Of course, Shasha says no.
Cool.
Red says no. Gary,
No.
you sleep? Bro, you sleep?
Yeah, hey, I don't know why I haven't brought that up. Gary, you there, man? Out
I can
again.
give you. I can give you good reasons why space isn't a waste of money
Kick him off the
because
panel, man. He sleep, man.
I can give you a good reason why
I'm
space
not gonna kick him off.
isn't
I'll
a
just
waste
mute
of
him.
money. It allows the world to be connected. Without space, we wouldn't be talking to each other right now because the in this form,
I don't
this
believe
form of
that.
communication wouldn't exist.
Okay,
What,
I mean,
what,
if you,
what was just
all right.
what was just launched today by SpaceX. I've forgotten the nation. I think it was Indonesia.
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 Yep.
Yeah. Was it a
It was a communication satellite to improve internet. What was it?
That's the word I was looking for. Yeah. It
Radio.
was a SATCOM.
Yeah, SATCOM. That's what it is.
So, yeah, space is very important. You got places like Indonesia. What was the Indian one that launched? They launched. I think it was. What was that other nation?
You talking space, or you talking like lower Earth orbit? Is that
No,
what
we're
you're talking about? Or are you
talking
talking
right
about
now.
space?
We were talking about.
Space.
It was two
I think we
space.
need to distinguish between the two.
It was two space. It was.
I tell you what.
Do you want to see the live?
What they call, low Earth orbit.
Do you want to see the live stream?
Of what?
The payload separation was at 841 kilometers.
NASA's they're assholes. They'll fucking pull my shit.
No,
I don't know why they do that too.
I was watching the last one. It wasn't Indonesia. I can't remember the name of the country.
Because it's fake?
Sri Lanka, I think it was Sri Lanka. So the number of people in the forums that were just from that country, they were just jubilant because their internet sucks. They can't get communications. That it's really, really bad. And it was NASA involved with the Indian Space Agency, and they I think it was a South African company that built the actual satellite. I can't remember. Anyway, it was this multinational effort to give this country, communications that they'd never had before. The people in the forums during the launch were just, "I love my country. I love my country. Go Indonesia, go Sri Lanka, whatever it was." I thought it was brilliant. It was really, really awesome. That's what space is about. This sounds Irish, yeah, but it's people in different nations doing good things to help other nations. And what better way than to bring communications to a country that didn't have it before?
I have a question, Seek. At what point?
Sure.
What point do you believe that technology stops?
Technology. I mean, if you want to talk, are you talking like in a flat Earth sense? Like
No, just on Earth.
Like I'm a flat earther, so I don't believe in technology or something.
Well, I hope you do. I mean, you're on it.
Yeah, right,
but,
right. So
like,
that point is null and void. So we don't even need
not.
to make
no,
that
that's
point.
not true at all. At what point? Okay, at what time?
I mean, it's a silly point.
What point do you believe we'll be able to go to space?
I think the nature of space, the way they say it, is
nope. You can't say the way they say it. It's the way you interpret it. Because the way they say it is very clear, they can go to space. You don't believe so.
I think the sky is a limit.
I
think that's why we say it. I think the sky has a limitation. There's only so far you can go up. And something happens, and they can't get past a certain point. That's what I believe.
Okay, why do you believe that, though?
That's what I believe. Why do you believe what you believe, man? Why do you believe what you believe?
Okay. I believe what I believe because if SpaceX says we're launching a rocket, I can go watch the rocket launch.
SpaceX.
Yeah, Florida. I'm not that far from Florida. I could watch.
I live in Florida too, man.
Guys, I would like to say I am preview because not SpaceX. Heavy with Falcon Heavy.
Falcon Heavy.
Yeah, that's SpaceX, right?
No, there's. I thought it was different, but anyway, here nor there. They launch here in California.
Florida.
Okay, my bad. But when they launch in California, they go on a southern trajectory, right? Well, when I lived in the mountains, I literally lived directly under that flight path. I got to see one. It was insane. So, Sasha, we had a conversation earlier. You said that a lot of Californians believed it was UFOs.
I actually said that before the stream.
Okay.
Before the launch day.
Yeah. Yeah.
that
you
people
saw
were
the
gonna think it was
footage. The
Yeah.
UFOs.
So what happened is
footage was amazing.
So what happens is I go outside of I walk outside and I'm going to my truck, and just because you get that look up feeling, I look up and I see this light, and I'm like,
I love it.
oh shit, we're gonna die. Luckily, I was on Discord, and I'm like, I got a buddy named Scott. He lives right in LA, and I'm like, hey Scott, are they launching? And he's like, yeah, they just launched. I'm like, okay, perfect. I got lucky enough to take one picture. It is not a very good picture, but it's
It's a great picture, Sean.
probably 10 seconds past me when I got the picture. So all you see is the thrust cloud or the thrust burn. Let me see. Let me find it real quick. It's not great at all, but it's
on the Discord.
Yeah, it's on. Okay,
And then-
I'll get there.
And then right below, I took a screenshot when they were doing stage separation, and it really shows day and night because they launched this right at dusk,
Right at sunset.
and
Yep.
so the launch separation shows day and night on the globe really well. It also has all the time and altitude and speed, everything on that screenshot.
Now, I really wish this could happen, but seek and find. Let me ask you something. Tell me if this would convince you.
Ask me whatever you want, Sean,
Okay.
man. Go ahead, man.
If you had enough people to, let's say, span the trajectory of the rocket, along the distance, and you saw it not actually go down but disappear up, would you then believe in space?
What are you talking about?
Okay, so
I think you got to explain that.
a lot of people will say, it looks like they're going down into the ocean, or no one knows where they're going. If you could span somebody, like I said, I was directly under the flight trajectory of that rocket.
Yeah.
If you could keep putting people further past, like spot to watch the rocket as it does what it does is it's a semi-orbit, and then it's able to get into a
It was
spot.
cool. They actually landed the drone ship again, and this was like the hardest conditions they've ever landed in.
Nighttime. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
Nighttime,
in the dark.
rain showers.
Yeah. Hang on,
Okay.
hang on.
All right.
That's too much. That's too much right now.
Sorry.
I'm just talking trajectory of the rocket. Would that convince you of space?
Are you saying that if I saw it, if I could somehow see it, like linear somehow?
If you and your family, I'm going to use your family because I'm probably guessing of the people on this earth, they're the ones you would trust the most. You guys could stand 1,000 miles from each other in the trajectory and constantly watch this rocket as it launches and then disappears. Would you then believe in space?
To be honest, Sean, I don't care about space. I think space is a
But-
waste of money.
but
If you
again,
ask
hang on,
me,
hang on.
if you want me to
But
answer
I want the answer for
honestly,
that though. It doesn't
so
matter if it matters.
you want to know what would
because
I need to see to believe in space?
yeah, 'cause put it this way: if you answer yes, then you would believe in space. You realize that your whole
Me seeing a rocket launched off is not going to make me believe in space.
where did it go?
Sean, me seeing a rocket
Well,
launch
okay, if it
is
goes up,
not going to make me believe
if it goes up,
that humans. You know what will make
But
me
if it
believe
goes-
that
okay,
humans
okay.
can exist in space?
okay. So is it humans or machines? Period.
Okay, both have been in space, right? Am I
Yes.
right or wrong in
I
saying
believe
that?
so. Yes.
Okay, so in order for me to believe in space, okay, I would need to see proof of, like, say, a human down here on Earth existing in a vacuum. Well, a vacuum that's way less. Hold on. A vacuum that's way less stronger than the vacuum of space claims to be. That's what I would need to see
when you say a person in a vacuum, do you mean in a capsule?
in a vacuum.
No. Well, he has to be in a capsule.
Training.
Because-
I want to see their
because
training mission
no
in a
human-
half vacuum.
But here's the thing.
How about a half vacuum?
No human
How
can
about
go
a half
in a
vacuum?
vacuum. Like no human can go bare-skinned into space.
Yeah, I don't think space is a vacuum.
But they're not doing that. They never said they do that.
They never said space was a vacuum.
No, they never said
But
they're
they
going.
never said they never go bareskin in space. They always go with suits on and stuff.
No shit, man.
Yeah,
No
well,
shit.
that's what I mean. I asked you, could it be in a capsule in a vacuum?
So throw that spacesuit on and go into a vacuum here on Earth and show me you can last for an hour.
It won't.
Just 1 hour.
No, that won't. That won't do anything. And the reason I know it won't because when NASA puts things in space, that's considered fake. SpaceX, which is not connected to NASA, Elon Musk didn't create SpaceX.
So when they launched that car up in space, you ate that up with a spoon,
that's
right?
That was
inaccurate.
nothing
See,
to do
has
with NASA.
It has to do with
invested-
SpaceX. You're talking about SpaceX.
Yeah, but
Red.
that's the point.
Red,
The
NASA
point
has
is-
invested billions.
Does SpaceX have NASA contracts or
I
not?
know.
They do.
Sasha.
Okay, so
Yeah.
can I link them together if they got contracts together, please?
Wait.
Can I please do that?
Wait. Okay, then link Goodyear because Goodyear has a link to him too. So does
Man,
does Snap-on Tools. So does,
okay, we don't know the nature of the
Craftsman.
contract.
It's the nature.
Can there be different terminology in each contract for those
wait,
different,
so-
you know,
So then,
companies?
do you trust
So-
I
Tools?
don't want to.
Because Craftsman has a contract
Man,
with them
this
too.
is getting, you know, if
Yeah,
y'all
but
want to talk flat Earth and y'all want to talk some facts, man, we can do that.
Yeah, well, we are saying what we
it's
are
the
facts like
nature
you
of the-
are.
It's the nature
So
of
it's
the
a
idea.
fact that it's a vacuum above your head,
Let
right?
Red talk.
And
It's-
right,
It's
is that
the
a fact?
nature of the idea. What it is I really apologize. It's going to sound patronizing. I'm going to apologize. It's the nature
Do
of
your
the
thing, man.
mindset. It's the nature of the mindset that has decided there is a conspiracy, regardless of the facts, regardless of the
Y'all
evidence.
just admitted
There is
that there's nefarious shit going on within the government.
That doesn't,
We did not
But
say
y'all
we did not say everything is nefarious though.
I did not say that.
Okay, some shit is nefarious, and it's like I said, even if you want to take 9/11, you're not going to kill 3,000 people in front of my face, and I don't blink an eye. Y'all choose to do that. That's
No,
okay.
Again,
That's
even
y'all.
if-
That's
time
not
out.
me.
Even
Do not tell me what I think. You can't do that.
Well,
You cannot do that
okay,
because
so-
you're acting like you think someone would be if they didn't believe in 9/11, and you're not talking to a person that believes like that.
it's the nature of the thinking involved. 9/11, you believe, is a conspiracy. Therefore, the government cannot be trusted. Therefore, NASA is evil and you can't be trusted. And space doesn't. It just one thing.
Do you have
seems like a
beliefs, man,
domino
or do you
falls from each
do you
other.
have beliefs?
Of course, I have beliefs.
Do
Everyone
you
has
believe
beliefs.
you live on a sphere? Or do you know that as a fact?
I know that as a fact.
Okay, see,
See exactly. See, I know that as a fact, but you find that
How do you know that
impossible
as
to
a
believe.
fact?
Because I've not seen anything to contradict it. The only people that
oh
are
crap! You
contradicting it are
experience the
people.
Earth as a flat, stationary plane, just like everybody else. Everybody experiences the Earth's flat. Everybody.
I have
I
no
don't-
reason. I have no reason to believe.
Everybody does, man.
I
have
don't-
no reason to believe a conspiracy theory that popped up on the internet 3 years ago. Okay, I have no reason to believe those people unless they can show me absolute positive evidence,
So-
not negative evidence.
If you're going to tell me
Space
that
is
you
fake, et cetera,
experience
et cetera.
the curve of the Earth and or the motion of the Earth, you'd be the first person. So go ahead and tell me that you've done that.
I have no reason to go to Australia because some people on the internet say Australia's fake.
I didn't
I
say
have
anything
no
about
reason.
I didn't
I
say
have
anything
no-
about Australia.
I have no reason. I have no reason to demand a DNA test from the Queen because some people on the internet say she's a lizard alien, and I have no reason to suspect that the
Yeah,
Earth is
you're
flat
projecting
because
that
some
shit
people
on
on
me. I
there-
didn't say nothing about
He's
that.
not
I have no
projecting.
reason to
It's just-
believe that. I'm
hang on,
not giving.
hang
I'm
on.
not being given
about-
any
hang
good
on.
reason.
Hang on, guys. See, you
Okay.
gotta understand something. The lizard people, the alien
Those are real things.
DNA and stuff like that. All those things are the same thing as what you're saying. Is the same thing that.
No, it's
Yes,
no,
it
it's
is.
not.
Yes,
No,
it
it's
is.
exactly the same.
Yes, it is.
How is it the same? If
Because
you,
it's
so you're
because-
telling me that I believe in those things?
Because you're
Do you- do you
you're
listen-
Hold
doing-
on, wait.
See,
You're
You're doing that
telling
to me.
that I
You're
believe
doing
in-
look. You're doing that to me. You're telling me how I think. See how
Right.
you can't do that?
All right, I'm wrong.
Well,
Okay.
the point
You
really
don't
is.
know if we landed on the moon, but it's okay to
You're right.
continue to, like,
I
don't
don't
defend
know.
NASA. They're just pissing dollars away.
And you're acting,
Millions of dollars
you're
away
acting,
every
reason.
you're
fucking
acting
day.
like
But that's
I
okay.
donate money. You're acting
Okay.
like I got a NASA logo on my shirt and I'm getting paid commercial points for it. You can't do that, man. You can't say because I believe
I can-
this, I love NASA. You can't
Okay,
do
so
that.
simple question. Should we defund NASA? Do you think we should defund NASA?
I don't know
Why?
enough to answer that. I don't. I honestly
See?
do not.
Every time I ask you a question, you say I don't know.
I'm
That's
sorry.
serious.
I know.
Maybe
I
that's
don't know.
that's
I
a
know.
good thing. Maybe you should do that too. Maybe you should
I
say
do,
I don't
I
know
do.
rather
I
than
do.
no, that's not real.
That's
rather
why
than say you have.
I say I don't
You
know to some
literally
shit.
believe.
It's not like
You believe
Red
because of
here
something.
because he knows for a fact
You
that
believe
he lives on the
because
street.
you believe because I said space is real that I love NASA. You have said that numerous times tonight. You cannot
This is a
do
great
that.
balance. This is a great balance. It's so balanced. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, there is every point of view here right now.
Yeah, right here. And no one's name calling. It's brilliant.
But that's the reality of it.
So let me ask you a question, okay? Is level and curve, can you make level and curve, like, is that synonymous? Can I make that synonymous? You know, level and curve.
Level just means same distance from the center of the Earth.
Yeah. 90 degrees.
Okay.
Level
right,
is
so
90 degrees.
Level and curve are synonymous. That's what you're saying, Sasha?
Hey, I just want to let you guys know.
Never said that.
I want to let you guys know. I'm
You
kind of.
didn't answer my question.
Guys, real quick. Off topic. I'm sorry. I'm just so everyone understands. I'm actually planning. I'm taking a trip to Texas tomorrow. So I'm kind of from now on. I'm just letting you know. I'm kind of gonna moderate. Just be here. I'll still here. You can ask me if anything you need to. But I'm gonna kind of be making sure a couple things are taken care of. So I'm not gonna be so much in the conversation. Just want to let you guys know.
Okay.
Okay.
That's fine.
Go ahead. I apologize.
I don't think we're going to have any real issues.
Oh no, not at all.
Yeah, you could continue to believe what you want. So
Well, here's the thing. Unless
is level and curve synonymous? Is that or those things that are okay?
Level no, it's the issue is I think there is the nature of the question. What you're asking when you say is level. It's the nature of the question.
Level and flat can be synonymous. Do you agree with that?
You broke up to me. I'm sorry.
You have a problem here. What are you taking so long to answer for? Just answer the question. Level and flat
That's
can
not
be
fair.
synonymous.
That's not. He can think before he talks.
Okay.
I generally do.
Take your time. Man.
I think very carefully before I talk. So, the question really is designed to sort of put me in a box, right? It's sort of a gotcha question. The nature of levels
it's a very
Earth,
legitimate question, man. If I run a level across a sphere, I have it's going to be an issue there. It's not going to stay level.
Yes, it will stay level. Level is basically what a level is basically perpendicular to the center of the pull of gravity, the center of the Earth. So at any point you drop a plumb line.
Right? Says the current state of physics, right?
Yeah, which has gone unchallenged. So if there's another idea, it's gone completely unchallenged. Unless
I'm challenging it right now. What are you talking about?
No, you're not. Okay, until you can produce, a real challenge rather than just. Again, sorry if I sound patronizing. I don't mean to. Until you can produce something tenable and something cogent, just saying the words in a chat or saying the words on a YouTube, in a YouTube chat room, that's not really. That's basically just naysaying at this point.
So what do you want from me? What do you want?
Something more sophisticated. I'm
hold
dying
on. Excuse
for
me.
something more sophisticated.
We're on a Google Hangouts having a conversation. What more do you want from me than conversation?
Okay, what I would like is the same level of conversation when scientists discuss global warming. There are scientists on both sides. Most scientists believe that anthropogenic global warming is reality. But there are some scientists who are dissenting and saying, no, we don't believe that is true. Okay, that is scientists arguing with scientists about science. Okay, what we are is laymen talking about science that I don't fully understand, neither do you, and we're just arguing in a YouTube chat.
So I should appeal to authority. That's what you're saying.
Everybody appeals to authority. If I ask you your name, you would have to appeal to authority.
Just merely, okay, so like even back in, Einstein days and stuff, those guys challenged each other. All I'm doing is I'm presenting a challenge.
Yes, they did.
A conversation because I'm on Google Hangouts. So,
scientists challenge scientists. Scientists challenge scientists, okay?
I'm challenging you to use your brain in this Google Hangouts.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, so
I'm not assuming a conspiracy.
Level and curve. I want to know how you make those two synonymous. Like how can
I'll
you?
explain.
Okay, all right. Listen.
If you're on the sea or whatever, okay, you're on a river and it's 50 kilometers long, and you drop a plumb line at the first kilometer, and then drop another plumb line at 50 kilometers away. The bottom of the plumb line will be closer than the top of the plumb line because the Earth is curved. The Earth isn't flat. You can do that. So level is whatever a plumb line dropped is perpendicular to the pull of the center of gravity of the planet Earth. That's what level is. If the Earth is a sphere, as soon as you walk away, you drop a plumb line and walk away. The further you walk, the bigger the difference between the bottom of the plumb line and the top of the plumb line. If you have a 5-meter plumb line and you go 50 kilometers away, the top will be quite measurable distance further than the bottom of the plumb line.
And you're talking about over water, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so instead of just like measuring water, we have to do this plumb line shit. I mean,
okay,
I don't really
you
know
asked the
about
question.
it, so I would like you to like pretty much show it to me instead of just. I mean, sorry if I'm coming off, but I just
no, you're fine.
would like to see it. What you're talking.
But even here's the issue: is human beings.
Why couldn't you just measure water though? That's my question.
Here's the problem. The problem is that such measurements require sophistication. The further you go up, or the more evidence you have for the spherical shape of the Earth, the more sophisticated and expensive the endeavor gets. So if you want to go up 100 kilometers, that is a level of sophistication that most people can't achieve, right? They don't have the money to send something up 100 kilometers, okay? But governments do. Okay, so
why would you have to go up 100 kilometers to measure?
Because if you go that high,
the rate at which water curves at a distance.
Okay, but if you go that high, there'd be no question. You know Mad Mike Hughes?
Come on, man.
Do you know of Mad Mike Hughes?
I'm just saying, if you're telling me, listen.
Wait, can I ask?
My question is very simple.
Wait. Okay.
It can't get much simpler than this, man.
All right.
It can't. If you're telling me that water curves at a certain clip, I'm not even going to say 8 inches per mile squared, because
that's wrong.
When that's said, y'all go to that. I'm not talking about observation. I'm talking about the clip at which this Earth curves.
Right.
Okay. That's a certain clip. And once you take that clip, you can micro down that clip and show it to me in an experiment. What is wrong with me asking for something as simple as that? That's what I don't understand. What is the problem with asking for something simple as show it to me?
Because people can show it to you, and people have. There are videos online. There is all sorts of resources that you can go to and see why the Earth is not flat and why the Earth is actually a sphere. The issue is a reluctance to accept the information, because there is
merely challenging.
There's a pre-existing. I can't remember the name of the term. It's a
challenge. I mean, that's just crazy.
As you go up higher, the curve becomes more obvious. So Mad Mike Hughes' plan is to launch himself on a rocket to go 63 miles. He wants to go, he said 100 kilometers to the Kármán line, and look and take pictures or whatever and prove for himself that the Earth is flat or round. That's his goal. If he achieves it, it'd be a miracle. If he doesn't die, it'll be a miracle. Okay. The trick is that even if he goes up there and says he saw a curve, when he comes back down, his testimony will be rejected. That's the way it will be. Every single time someone goes up that high and says, I looked back and I saw curve, their testimony is rejected. Every single last one. So, what do you do then? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here, man.
Okay, good.
Understand just why can't this? We talking about practicality. Practically show me either water curving, water bodies of water. Just show it to me. I don't think that's so hard to do.
It isn't. It isn't, and people have.
Okay, so why am I here? Why am I here, man?
I don't, because you believe
okay.
Yeah, there's a conspiracy. People are lying to you, and the things aren't what we seem. But what the problem is that even when evidence is shown to prove that viewpoint is flawed, it isn't accepted. You continue with the viewpoint.
Okay,
we've got satellites, we've got the International Space Station,
J.F. Kennedy, 9/11,
etc. We've got so many different things. Different nations, China.
Then. Name me okay, we got JFK, 9/11, and the moon landings that we all agree that something nefarious is going on with these.
No, I'm sorry. I was. There's only one.
My fault.
Sorry, it's okay. There's only one conspiracy that I consider to be probably true, and that is that Oswald shot Kennedy. I don't think Oswald shot Kennedy. That's it. I think 9/11 has some suspicious things about it. Okay, but as far as conspiracies, those are the only two.
Well, okay, so two.
And until I see something really convincing, I'm just going to have to reject it. So there's no reason that what that ends up being is there is no reason for me to suspect that the Earth may not be a sphere unless I'm shown evidence that is. Don't forget that this idea has only popped into existence in the popularity levels that it has in the last 3 years. It's not like you've believed this all your life and this is just a common thing. It's not. It's something that popped up on the internet 3 years ago.
Argument. I mean, you can make that all day. That's the weak argument.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. Pearl Harbor.
Me?
Pearl Harbor?
You asking me? Me? Oh. So that's another one. Okay, so we about
So there you go, Pearl Harbor. Let's add to that one. let's add that to the ones that are suspicious. Okay, let's add Pearl Harbor. Yeah, I heard about that. I heard it was, yeah. But there are two issues. The first issue is what happens generally when I look into these different conspiracy ideas, these different things. What generally happens is people, what they'll usually say to me is that I have to spend some inordinate amount of time researching this. The problem with that is there are so many of them. That it's impossible. You'd spend the rest of your life investigating all these conspiracies, and I don't see a good reason to. It's just me. I just don't. Why would I spend all my life trying to dig up conspiracies and thinking everybody is lying to me? Why would I want to live like that? I don't want to live like that.
I fully 100% agree with you.
Yeah, I ask you simple, like I said, if you just look around. Do you think you okay with the world? I think you feel like you okay with the way things are going on. I'm not.
I have a question for you guys. I have a question for you.
Yeah, that's true.
And this is important. Would you prefer? This goes for both of you. Hang on. I have a question for you guys. Would you rather be where you are now, with the knowledge, the idea of there is a flat Earth, blah blah blah, all these ideas that we have of conspiracies, or would you rather go back to before you knew about these conspiracies? Basically, when you didn't think the government was an issue.
I'm at. I feel very fortunate to know what I know.
Because for me, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I honestly would rather go back. I get how that whole.
You'd rather be a zombie.
Yes.
And just,
wait a second.
No, in a sense, yes.
Wait. I object, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
This is one reason why I don't accept conspiracies. And I'll tell you why. Because this afternoon
I admit that there's conspiracies.
I'm not admitting anything.
Let him finish.
JFK. You just admitted to JFK.
No, I'm not admitting anything.
Let him finish.
Okay.
Here's the problem. I went into a chat this afternoon, and gosh, what was the topic? Oh, I think it was UFOs or Illuminati, something, lizard, and it was alien something. It was an alien something, okay? Something to do with aliens. They called me a zombie. They called me a fool. They called me a sheeple. They said all of the same things what I've been called when I started looking at flat Earth. All the same exact things. The way it works is very, very straightforward. Someone gets information, they believe the information, and then what happens in their head is they become, again, patronizing, sorry, they become sort of warriors for truth. Then everybody else becomes a sheeple. Everybody else becomes a fool. Everybody else is a zombie. Everybody except you is a zombie. Everybody except you is a fool. But you are not fooled. You're not a zombie. You're woke. And so you sort of view everybody with this sort of supercilious, superiority that I just find.
Not true, but go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Okay, right. But you just said you happen to be a zombie. What is that? Would you call a friend of yours a zombie?
I call zombies people who lack the willingness to critically think about everything that comes across their plate.
Okay,
But
I have a question.
What you're saying is that you consider people zombies if they don't believe in the conspiracy ideas that you believe.
Am I a zombie?
I didn't say that.
Hang on.
Basically, yeah. Anyone who doesn't agree with your conspiracy ideas is a zombie.
Secret Fire, could I ask you something? Do you believe that all the conspiracies you believe in are correct as you think they are?
No.
Okay, that's all. That's my question.
No, I don't.
Because the issue I see, like what Red is saying, is for the majority of conspiracy theorists, and this is something that I run into a problem with, as one myself. Because you say 9/11, for instance, you start talking like holograms and missiles and stuff like that. Then
there's a lot of misinformation out there.
100%. And my thing is that some people, and I've said this 1,000 times, there's always a way to explain a conspiracy, and then sometimes a lot of people, what they'll do is they'll go over that deep end. Where it becomes just so far-fetched, then you no longer want to talk to them.
Yeah, it's the internet, man, but you got to exercise your own discernment, and I think I have pretty good discernment.
That's
so
where
if you tell me that I don't have good discernment,
but you've already said
it's going to be a debate.
Okay, but you've already said
you tell me I don't have my.
You understand?
I don't have my own discernment.
You said you understood that some of the conspiracies, or of the conspiracies you know that not all of them are as you think. Now, isn't that the same thing as believing we landed on the moon?
Let me answer. I believe that that's part of like this growing thing, and like part of like trying to search out the truth. You may think something, but you're always on this journey. It's just like science. Science is supposed to always be trying to usurp itself. And so for them to point out and say, "Hey, man, this is a fact," and teach it to my children as a fact, like it can't be usurped and built upon, or maybe even changed.
Okay,
like
in your brain,
what's the problem with that?
In your brain, are you okay? In your brain, are you open to the fact that we could have gone to the moon?
I would need, I think what I call proof and what I would call, basically proof.
Well, no, you can't say that because realistically, we don't have 100% undeniable truth. 9/11 was what it was. And the government will never give us that
evidence of what I see in front of me.
Okay.
Like losing the
Am I right? Am I right? We don't have
whatever data.
Am I right though? We don't have 100% proof. It was what we think 9/11 was, and the government will never give us the actual truth of it. Right?
So I should just move on and be like, okay.
But am I right though?
Continue to eat up with a spoon, whatever they say.
But I'm
continue
correct.
to want to give them my tax dollars. When I know my tax dollars,
you're doing that zombie thing again, man.
You're calling people zombies.
Again, am I right though? The government, we will never have us people will never have 100% actual truth of 9/11, and the government will never tell us. Am I right?
Okay, say you're right.
Okay. All right. And with that said, you have to realize then you do not have the undeniable proof that you keep asking for us.
So where would I get my proof?
Or you don't have the undeniable proof we didn't go to the moon. You literally, just like I've been saying, you have to be under there. I don't know. You can say what you believe. You can say what you believe, but you cannot tell us what you know. In that regards, not everything
Here's
else.
the issue, I think, it's just that, you know, when they have been caught in so many lies, and I say so many because it's so many. You
Who's
can
they?
they and them,
Who?
whoever the powers may be,
Just a general they.
Name. I could,
but Red, I would
as soon
agree
as I
with.
start naming them, I'll be lying because I don't know
Red,
if that to be a fact.
Regardless, we wouldn't know. We wouldn't know who they were like that. In that sense,
I know evidence when I see it. Like I see the evidence, and I can interpret that evidence the way I see fit. You know, I don't have to go with the mainstream ideal of that evidence. I can interpret evidence the way I see fit. So the evidence is lacking. That's all I see is evidence lacking. You know, it's the lack of evidence and scientific evidence at that for this globe. So that's the reason I am a flat earther and became a flat earther, is because I see a lack of evidence. I see holes in certain places, and I think it can be challenged.
Can I be honest?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think it's got anything to do with science.
Okay,
no,
so
it's got nothing to do with science.
Experiment. Give me an
example. For example, you could go to the Apache Point.
You're going to talk about an observation, or you're going to talk about an experiment?
Okay.
It doesn't matter. Just let him go. Just let him talk.
Okay, you could go to the Apache Point in New Mexico, and you can tell them and say to them, you know what? I don't think there are retroreflectors on the moon. And you can tell them whatever you want. Tell them you're making a film or something. Give them some good reason to convince you. Okay, and then they can show you. All right, there are things you can do. You can, for example, if you don't believe the ISS is in orbit, you can have 2 observers, 3 observers if you want, and have them observe the ISS from different locations, and you can gauge its height and its speed. Okay, you can do that. The problem is that nobody in the flat Earth community has been to Apache Point. Nobody in the flat Earth community.
Can I ask you a question? Can I stop you when I disagree with something? Is that okay?
Go ahead. Yeah. Stop.
That's how
Jump in.
Okay, so you said I could calculate the ISS. Who would I have to appeal to get an equation? Because I can't come up with that equation on my own.
Then you're calling mathematics. Then you're calling mathematics into question.
Okay, so who do I have to get that equation from in order for me to calculate?
8th grade science.
Stuff you can work up from.
Where's it coming from?
You
8th grade
could
science.
literally.
That's super simple equation.
If you really, really wanted to, you could literally go back to grade school, work backwards, sort of right back at the beginning, start with all of the words and the numbers and the equations that you do know, and work up to the point where you could figure out the distance to the International Space Station and then go and do it yourself. At any point in time, you can say, I think this equation is bogus, because you see an equation, it looks super long and super complicated. Okay, but the problem is you look at an equation, it looks super long and super complicated because it is. And you say that equation must be fake because I don't understand it. You could go back to whatever elementary level or whatever level you were at when you went to school, go back to the beginning, learn all of the stuff until you can get to the level where you can understand that equation. Then go and make the observation, and you will see the International Space Station exactly and precisely where NASA says it should be, the size it is, the speed it is, and the altitude it is. The problem I have with the conspiracy this flat Earth conspiracy theory movement is that no one is doing things like that. The very, very things that would absolutely destroy NASA, they're not doing. They're not measuring the Earth from distance.
Have to destroy NASA by doing some math. Is math proof? Is that
yes?
Okay.
Yeah, of course it's proof.
So I want some. All right. Well,
yeah, math is absolute proof. Math is unequivocal, absolute proof.
You say math is proof, and I say math. I mean, we just gonna have to agree to disagree. I don't think math is proof, and because let me explain this. With the spin, something like the 1,000 miles an hour spin, which is
okay, but you change it.
Hold on. Wait, what are we talking about, man? What are we talking about?
Go ahead, man. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Do you not want to go there? Are you scared?
No. Nope.
Okay, so
I'm not afraid.
Is 1,000 miles an hour? Is that fast to you? Is that a fast motion? Just answer that.
1,000 miles an hour relative to what?
No, just answer my question.
It's not.
It's not a just answer a question, though.
1,000 miles an hour? No, it's very, very slow.
So if I throw a baseball at you at 1,000 miles an hour, that's slow?
For a baseball?
for baseball, 1,000 miles an hour is fast.
Okay, make it the Earth. If I threw the Earth at 1,000 miles an hour at your face, is that slow?
Yes.
Yes.
Y'all full of it, man. Y'all full of it.
You're asking.
Wait,
You're
wait,
asking
so
a question. Is 1,000? It's relative to what you are.
So let me get this straight.
Okay.
Say an 18-wheeler driving down
Now you're talking. All right. Now you're
at 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, it's
Yep.
going 70, right?
Yep.
Next to that is a bike.
Tricycle. Yep. Tricycle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, it's going 70.
Mm-hmm.
They're both going 70, right?
Exactly.
Doesn't matter how big one or the other is, right?
Absolutely. So
Okay,
one.
1,000 miles an hour is fast, right?
So for the truck, 70 miles an hour is not that fast. For a tricycle, 70 miles an hour is just out
They're
of
both
control.
going the same speed.
Exactly.
Relative,
It's relative.
though. Fast is a
It just-
relative
It
word.
doesn't matter. No, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't have a
It
set
does
meaning.
matter. It does matter. Okay, if you were on a skateboard at 70 miles an hour or in an 18-wheeler at 70 miles an hour,
Yeah, you
try-
take the windshield off of that 18-wheeler. It's going to be the same as you were
Nope.
on that.
You would.
Yes,
No,
You're kidding.
wait. You would feel like
you-
it would feel like 200 miles an hour at 70 on
Have
a
you been-
skateboard.
I've been on a motorcycle. I've been in a car at 130 miles an hour, and I've been on a motorcycle at 130 miles an hour. The car actually no, it was a bus in Germany. Long story, okay. And we were on the bus in Germany on the autobahn, and I looked out of the window and I saw the trees and stuff going by at a fairly quick clip. I go up to the front. The driver's name was David. I said, David, what speed are we doing? It seems like the trees are going by fast. And he says, I'm not sure. I look at the speedometer. The speedometer only went up to 120, and the needle was buried on the pin.
Right.
Okay. I had no idea we were going that fast. I looked out the window. Okay. I've also been 130 miles an hour on a motorcycle, and I thought I was going to die. I could only handle it. I could only handle it for about a minute. And I thought I was going to die.
I can vouch for that. I've done the exact same
Okay.
situation.
All right. Y'all don't see the
Speed,
difference between the two.
speed is relative.
What's going on here? Y'all don't see the difference between the two.
Yes,
No,
speed
we
is
do.
relative.
That's what we're trying to explain to you. You're making it seem like 1,000 miles an hour is the same no matter what, and it's not.
Do you have windows on say the bike? Okay, so say like a punch buggy is next to the.
No, wait. Do you understand?
Hold on.
Hang on. Do you? No, wait, because you haven't answered this.
We're
Do you?
in the
Hang on.
Volkswagen.
Do you? Hang on. Seek.
70.
Is a 7.
Because y'all want to make it, y'all
hang on, because you need to understand.
argument, man.
Because
It's
it
crazy.
really matters what we're saying.
Stay where we at.
Semantics.
At 70 miles an hour on a
Stay where we
skateboard,
at.
is
We're
it
not talking about semantics.
Okay, stay where we're at then.
Seek and find.
Oh,
If you're on a skateboard doing 70 and you're in
No,
a
no,
truck,
no.
hang on, doing it in a truck doing
Stay
70,
where-
is it the same
Stay
thing?
where-
Do you feel the
Stay where
same?
we are.
Does it look the same?
This one.
Does it look and feel the same?
Hint, no is the right answer.
Seek, you got to answer, man. Does it feel the same? On a skateboard at 70 and in a truck at 70, does it feel the same?
Are you ready?
Yeah, but can you answer that, please?
Okay, so
No, wait, please answer. Please don't go away from it. Just answer that one question.
skateboard, you're right. The skateboard and say the truck are going to be different because of the wind resistance that you're going to be having on, say, a skateboard
Yeah.
and a truck.
The whole
with
experience,
windows
really.
And a windshield right in front of
Yeah.
your face.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
walls next to you. Yeah,
Yep.
it's going to be different.
100%. Okay.
Okay,
That
I
right
agree.
there. That
Okay,
right
so
there is the.
Your point.
That is
Your point
perspective.
is null and void. And that
That's,
shit
no.
don't mean nothing.
That's
That shit
perspective.
don't mean nothing.
That's why you don't realize how fast. That's why you don't see on a regular day how and feel 1,000 miles an hour. Your perspective
y'all
is
act like
different than
we
you think.
wouldn't- For the inhabitants of Earth, y'all act like we wouldn't be experiencing 1,000 miles an hour.
You are.
Yeah.
You are experiencing it.
Okay.
No, wait. You're not because you're not at the equator.
Explain to me.
But
Explain to me.
You are experiencing the rotation of the Earth.
Explain.
100%.
Okay.
Explain to me how I experienced that because I don't experience
Because
shit.
you
So
don't have a-
explain to me how I
You
experienced.
don't have a guardrail. You don't have another car. You don't have trees or buildings to reference your speed. That's why you don't realize it.
You're in the bus. You're in a bus
And
at 130.
And there's nothing outside the window.
So I'm enclosed in the atmosphere
And there's
somehow.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right. Yeah, that's
stop.
magic.
You just
I'm talking.
stop. You just wordplay. Stop that,
Concept.
Zeke. You just
concept.
Zeke,
Wait, no, wait. You
no,
just said it.
Sasha,
He just said it.
You
He
stop
just
too.
got
What'd you
it.
say? What'd you say?
He just
care.
got it.
Stop.
He
Stop.
just said it.
Sasha, stop.
He said we're enclosed in an atmosphere.
No, he
Yes.
just said it. No, he said
On the bus,
system.
we're enclosed in an
He just said
atmosphere.
system, and he was wordplaying
Right,
the fuck
but
out
the
of that
Earth
shit.
is not
and Red
enclosed.
He just
didn't catch it.
admitted.
Tell me how it's enclosed.
We're not in an enclosed system, though.
No, you just said you were enclosed in an
Why
atmosphere
would
on
you
that
bring me
bus.
to an analogy that says we're in
Sean.
a system when you're
Sean.
You finally
I
got
hear
it.
you.
That's
Sean.
retarded. It's a bad analogy.
Yeah, hang on.
Sean.
Yeah.
It's a bad analogy.
Hang on, Zeke.
You said you were going to moderate.
Yeah, I know, I'm trying, but the problem was it was something like I said, so I'm gonna moderate unfairly, so I can't moderate at that moment.
Okay. I won't.
In a nutshell, y'all bring me to an analogy that says
I am officially
you're
done
in an
talking, though.
enclosed atmosphere.
Yeah.
But the Earth is not an enclosed atmosphere, correct?
Yes. No. Oh goodness. Yes, it is enclosed in that
How?
beyond. Okay. The atmosphere gets thinner as you get higher and higher and higher. There's less and less atmosphere.
What do you mean atmosphere? You're implying that we're on a globe already.
Of course, because we're on a globe.
Says who? Says who? Atmosphere doesn't imply that we're on a globe? What do you mean by atmosphere? I mean, explain what the atmosphere is.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. The atmosphere
No.
of the Earth
Okay.
is held to the planet's surface like everything else, every person, every drop, every atom is held to the planet's surface like it is on every other planet by the gravitational force of the planet itself.
Can I stop you there?
The mass. Wait, no.
Wait.
The mass. The mass. Let me finish. Oh my goodness.
I can't.
Let me finish, if I may. Okay. When you land on the moon, dust is kicked up, and then the dust settles. When you land on Mars, dust is kicked up, and then dust settles. The Mars rover. See, mockery is not evidence. In fact, when you mock,
when you say gravitational force, because
right. But the problem is when you mock instead of producing evidence, that shows me that you have no evidence.
Well, you're just
because all you're doing is mocking. You're laughing.
About landing on the moon and the dust would do this on the moon. Okay. How can you prove that to me, dude?
Let me be blunt. Let me be blunt to you. Can I be blunt? Let me be blunt to you. I haven't called you a zombie.
On the moon, the dust
I haven't called you a zombie yet. Okay. I haven't called you a zombie yet. I haven't laughed at what you've said.
Force is going on. And
I'm trying to treat.
Right?
I'm trying to treat. Go on. Go on. Yes. Yeah.
Man, come on. Okay, can I do something?
All right. Noted.
Okay, I just want to say that I do want to have a conversation. So if he's going on about something and I disagree with it, I'm not trying to really be disrespectful and cut him off. if I'm going on about something and you disagree with it, I'll mute my mic and let you go on and cut me off. But I don't get the same respect when he's saying, "Hey, gravity's doing this."
Okay. Sasha still here? Yeah, I was just I forgot where I was.
Oh, you were talking about the atmosphere is an enclosed system.
Oh, there you go. Okay. The atmosphere isn't enclosed in that there's some form of barrier. Okay. The only barrier we really have is the Van Allen, the radiation belts, okay, that actually block the sun's radiation, deflect the sun's radiation. The magnetosphere does that, etc., etc. Okay. Those aren't physical, tangible barriers that we have to actually burst through. The atmosphere is held to the planet, whatever reason or whatever cause, the atmosphere is held to the planet, and we know that because it gets thinner with altitude and it continues to get thinner. So the higher up you go, it gets thinner and thinner and thinner until there's none left. Okay? And then basically there's just a few particles, and then a few less and a few less, and then you have nothing. For all intents and purposes, nothing. That's outer space. Okay? So there is atmosphere of the Earth isn't contained. It isn't in a container like a bicycle tire. Okay? It's held to the planet by the force that keeps everything to the planet, whatever you want to call that. That's how the planetary system works. So it is enclosed.
Just how liquid is held down to the planet, so is gas, because science actually defines gas as a liquid.
Yeah. So the atmosphere is a liquid, technically.
So it still contains mass, and it's still being held down to Earth.
Yeah, and it's a very, very thin. Atmosphere is just a very, very thin liquid. And by the way, the surface of the oceans and the atmosphere are both liquids, but one is thinner than the other, and they're separated, and they don't need a barrier.
And so basically, just how when you're in a bus and there's the bus's atmosphere, you don't feel yourself going at 200 miles an hour. It's the same thing when you're on the Earth and you're in the Earth's atmosphere. You don't feel us going at 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah. I just thought of something.
1,000 miles an hour is really slow on the Earth because it is just one rotation in 24 hours.
Yes.
So it's really slow.
Go on and on making fallacious arguments, man.
How are they fallacious?
You comparing the water next to the atmosphere like that's a vacuum. The atmosphere is not a vacuum. Put that atmosphere next to a vacuum 100 times out of 100. The gas is going to go into the empty space. That's what's going to happen.
Have you tested it 100 times out of 100?
I can come at this from so many avenues, man.
Scaled to the planet with scaled with gravity properly?
I just talked for like 5 minutes, going on and on, making argument after argument. Let me make it.
Go ahead.
Okay. Let me pick because I got so many with this. Y'all love to argue this gradient. Okay, so the atmosphere is getting. Hold on.
Wait, you asked.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. You talk.
Okay, go on. Sorry. I'm done.
Okay, the atmosphere is getting lighter and lighter as we go up. Why is that?
Okay.
Okay. Hold on. You say that the molecules are spreading farther and farther apart?
Right.
The higher you go up, the molecules in the atmosphere are spreading farther and farther apart.
Well, they're less compressed. Yes.
So what's the atmosphere then? And how high is that? It's about 30 miles up, right?
You don't know the exact in miles. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's about 30 miles up there. And just tell me what you think the ionosphere is.
It's just one of the levels of the atmosphere.
These molecules are spreading farther and farther apart.
Yeah.
Then how do we have something that our radio waves can propagate off of there, up there, that is explained like it's a dense concentrated area? 30 miles up.
The slightest idea.
You got an idea. I think you got an idea.
No, I don't.
Yeah, I think
I don't know anything about. I don't know anything about how radio waves get propagated off the atmosphere. Turn down. I don't know. I mean, I don't know anything about radio and how it works. Shortwave and long wave radio.
Are you asking somebody for the answer right now? I heard something, man. Something.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
Okay, my fault.
No, it's fine.
Fine.
I have to be quiet.
I fault that. Okay, so yeah, anybody can answer. Anybody?
Hold on.
Wasn't really paying too much attention.
Pull it up.
So I
Pull it up.
apologize.
Pull up the ionosphere. Pull it up.
Okay, but okay, I remember now. In your question about the ionosphere, you do understand that the ionosphere isn't the last atmosphere that we have, right?
I'm just asking a question.
Okay,
If the claim is that molecules are spreading farther and farther apart, then what's
Right.
the ionosphere?
So it's just one of the layers of the atmosphere. Okay.
So
So
it's the
I
layer
don't
of the
understand
ionosphere that contains a
Okay,
high
so you're claiming
concentration.
that radio
I'm gonna tell
waves
you.
can propagate
I'm gonna
off
tell
of
you right now.
molecules that are spreading farther and farther apart?
Okay, I'm going to tell you right now. The layer of the Earth's atmosphere that contains a high concentration of ion-free electrons and is able to reflect radio waves. It lies above the mesosphere and extends from
mesosphere.
About, my bad. And extends from about 50 to 600 miles above Earth's surface.
Okay. There you go.
Okay, so it said highly concentrated, right? So
A high concentration of.
Okay, high concentration is a direct opposite of molecules spreading farther apart.
What?
I don't.
No.
Yeah,
That's
highly
not,
so
that's
different.
not,
There are
that's yeah. That you can't even equate the two. That's not.
There are different molecules at that level.
It doesn't
There
go.
are different
It's
molecules.
not one and the same.
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah,
With the height,
That's-
it's separate. I mean, I'm not an expert in the atmosphere. In fact, I know very, very little about the
right,
atmosphere.
but y'all love to use it though. So this
What
is
do you mean you'll love to? You ask. Okay, here's the thing. You ask the question. I'm doing my best to answer the question. Okay, but I'm not an expert.
Yeah,
I'm not an expert in this. So you're asking again. The issue is you're asking someone who isn't an expert for expert opinions.
And then
but
use
then,
that as
no.
But
I'm
then,
not asking
but
you for
then,
the answer. You don't
when
have
we-
to teach me,
but
dude.
when
I'm
we
just asking
cite
you to
when we
critically
cite
think
the
about it.
experts, but then wait, but when we cite the experts, you say that's scientism. So
No, I'm not asking.
what do you
for the
want?
answer. You don't have to lecture me. You don't have to teach me anything. I'm just asking you to critically think. This is what this is.
I am
about.
critically thinking.
But
I am
no,
critically thinking.
No, hang on, Zeke. But here's the thing. When you do this, what you're doing is you're going, okay, well, explain the ionosphere. He says he doesn't know, and then that's your proof. It's not what we think it is.
Why would I assume it's not what we think it is? I have no reason to assume that.
All you got to do is break down what you just read. It said highly.
Okay, but see, here's the thing. You broke it down. You broke it down, and you said that
The radio waves
you
have to
said,
bounce off
you
something,
said
right?
the
Can't
term.
bounce off
You said the term
nothing.
high concentration is the same as or isn't the same and can't be molecules spreading apart when the two have nothing to do with each other. They're not explaining either of it. And
Can I ask?
when it comes to the ionosphere, yes, certain waves bounce off of it, but make those waves stronger, and they go right through the ionosphere.
The default position is whatever the science is, it isn't true. That seems to be the default position. Whatever the science says, it can't be true. It's impossible.
I just want it proven to me.
Yeah, see,
I don't think
Okay,
that.
but if I were
then-
to bring in a scientist, if I were to go and get a scientist and come tomorrow night and say, "Here's my scientist. He's Professor whatever UCLA. He's on the phone. Hey, Professor, why don't you talk to my friend here?" What's the first thing you're going to say? You're going to say, "Well, that education's all a lie and it's all indoctrination, and he's just a scientism."
You're shoving that down my throat like that's what
He's a
This is
priest
what I
of
would say.
scientism.
Well, wait, hang on. What would you
You want
say?
to hear what I would say instead of telling me what I would
Okay,
say?
no. What would you say then?
Sure, go ahead.
Say, show me an experiment.
Okay, and he invites you out to UCLA, and then you go up and
Hold on. Why can't you
Yeah.
show me an experiment?
No, because wait, stop.
Because
stop,
I'm not a
stop. Yeah,
scientist.
stop. So you did it again.
Let me out there.
Seek
You can pick
and
from this
find.
one to that
Nope.
one.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Seek and find. You did it again. He's already stated he's not a professional. He cannot show you. But here's another thing. Do not put someone to that scrutiny of proof if you can't do it the same.
I'm not asking him to perform an experiment in his living room. I'm asking, listen.
You said, why can't you show me?
Pull it up. We're on the internet. Pull it up.
Why? You could pull it up.
There's
Why are you
none.
asking
That's
me
the
to pull
reason
up?
I'm asking you
Because
to
a professional is going to give you because a professional is going to be able to explain. The professional is going to be able to explain it way better than we will. And you're trying to tell us to do it, and our information is going to be minuscule at best. It's the understanding of it to explain it. We're not professionals. You can't do that, Zeke.
I can't hear anything.
Hold
I
on.
can't hear anything.
So say a guy in the lab coat shows up. He says, "Hey man, I'm a scientist. I show you this experiment. I should just accept that without challenging it."
No, you
That's
should go. You should go and see what he has to show you.
Right.
But you're
So
saying
I'm going.
you're saying
Where are they at?
you're
That's
telling
what I'm
Red,
asking.
you're telling
Where are
Red
they
to do
at?
that everywhere. You can go
With
online. You can go to almost
What
any.
is-
You can go to almost any university, and they'll do
Yes.
it for you.
But we live in a
Very,
scientific
very
dictatorship.
We are not living in any dictatorship. You can go and ask them yourselves.
How do you
You
know
can
that?
go and ask them, and
So-
they will tell you.
Wait, see.
Hang on, P. Mars. Are you saying that you can't go to a university and they will not explain a science to you?
I'm saying universities are part of the conspiracy of the scientific dictatorship.
Where's your evidence of that, though?
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
wait. Seek and
Hey,
find.
Seek, I have a question.
Hang on, Sasha. Seek and find. You understand that what P. Mars is saying right now is what muddies the water for your doubt in science.
Why are you
P-Mars
laughing at me, you dummies?
Calm down.
P-Mars, you're awesome. Is he?
Of course, the
Sean, let
education
me ask you:
system.
Are you a scientist, Sean?
The colleges were one of the first things that were taken
Okay.
over.
But
Like, give me a
here's
break.
the thing. Here's the thing. That with just like other observations, there are observations and experiments you can test for yourself and see if science or universities are even lying. And if they're not, then you can't say everything they say is a lie.
The only way to do it, okay, if you want to say that the ionosphere is not what we're being told it is, then you have to learn about the ionosphere. And if that takes going back to the absolute most rudimentary point in education that you have, working way all the way from that point up to the point where you understand the science around the atmosphere and the ionosphere, etc., then by all means do that. But until you do that, until you give me an absolute reason why I should doubt the scientific consensus regarding the atmosphere, then I have no reason to question it.
It's interesting.
All I did was get Sean
would I
to pull
question
up.
It's interesting
Why?
you mentioned education because Bertrand Russell said the scientific rulers will provide one kind of education for ordinary men and women and another for those who are to become holders of scientific power. In his book, The Scientific Outlook, he wrote
That's
1931.
lovely. That's terrific, but it doesn't change. It doesn't change the fact that people that like myself, okay, ordinary people like myself, okay, if I wanted to prove, for example, if I doubted, let's say I doubted NASA, what's an easy way to debunk NASA? Prove that something that they have said is the case, or is in orbit, or something isn't true. It isn't there. For example, satellites or the International Space Station. How would I test that the International Space Station is not where they say it is? How would I go about doing that? Anyone? What would I have to do?
Well,
All you
you
gotta
have
do is
to
look at their
go
live.
observe it and
can
go
tell.
observe where they say it's going to be
Okay.
from multiple places on the Earth at the same time. And then if your measurements don't line up with what their measurements say, then you've debunked them.
That's
But you
basically-
can't say that you've debunked them until you've triple checked your measurements.
If I have a friend that came over from France and he's soaking wet. Why are you soaking wet? Well, I came on the hovercraft from Dover to Calais. Okay, I say to him, "You're a liar." Blah 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 blah. There's no such thing as a hovercraft that goes from Dover to Calais. All right, I could say that all day long. I could have blogs and whatever. There's no Dover Calais hovercraft. Okay, but until I go to Dover and look at the schedule of the ferries and then stay there and just wait for one of the ferries, until I do that, I can't say there isn't a Dover to Calais hovercraft. I can't. And
Is there a Dover to Calais hovercraft? That'd be
yes, there
pretty
is. Yeah, yeah. And if you stand on the deck, you get soaked because it just throws up water, and because you won't let you stand on the deck because you get soaked.
Ask simple questions, man.
Well, that's it. But the point is, if you doubt NASA, fantastic. That's fine. Doubt NASA. Okay.
Yeah, something wrong with that?
No, there's nothing. I just said fine.
Relax.
Okay. I just said fine. Doubt NASA. Test them. But don't. What I'm hearing. I don't want to sound like I'm mad. I'm not. I just don't understand is if there is no International Space Station, then there is not going to be an object in orbit around the Earth. The way to find out that object is not there is to look for it and confirm that it's not there.
Okay.
No flat earthers have done that.
Here's the thing, I have. And that was one of the other things that made me realize we don't live on a flat earth. I have tracked and seen it. So, Seek, you now know somebody who has seen the ISS. Or, you know what? I'll be 1,000% honest. Has seen a spot in the sky moving very fast. At the time, scientists told me to look. Trackers told me to look at it. Now, why I'm able to see it and how I see it
is proof of a spherical Earth.
Yes.
Instead of practically
because
showing.
Here's the thing. Remember,
something like water curving. Like I don't understand that.
Here's the reason why. Because remember, the whole time I was a flat earther, I believed in space. With that said, I had to then come up with a way for how they were traveling in space, if not orbiting. So I looked into it extremely. And I'm sorry to say, the only way for them to track that ISS, and for me to see it, you to see it, Red to see it, and Sasha to see it, and P. Mars to see it, and Gary to see it all, and when they say we will, is for something to be orbiting above us.
So in order for them to have, now I'm going to bring you somewhere else. Is that okay?
As long as you understand that.
Hold on.
That's
I just want
why.
to make an analogy.
Go ahead.
In order for you to have GPS on your phone, there has to be a satellite in the sky.
Yes.
Yeah. Wait. Better yet, there has to be something. There has to be something that can see you
There are free satellites for every
and a larger area that you are speaking. For instance, if you're in a plane and you're using a little radar, you only see a certain amount. GPS, with its capabilities, has to see a large area. And the only way to get a large area like that is from being very, very high up.
There's always at least 3 satellites connected to you when you are on GPS.
So here's the thing.
I don't want to believe that's fine. I mean, but
it's not
for them to say, "Hey, you're here."
You asked the question.
Not a belief.
Satellite up in the sky telling
you asked the question.
Right here.
Let Red finish because you asked the question. He was trying to talk.
Okay. So we had a Toyota minivan. Okay, a Sienna, and the Sienna came with GPS. We also had my family, and we had 4 iPhones. We were driving, I forgot where it was, Texas somewhere. Okay. No, it was in the mountains, like in Michigan. It was in Michigan. Okay, so we're up in Michigan. We're out in the middle of nowhere. All of our phones lost signal. We didn't get any signal at all, not even 1 bar. Okay, and none of our phones could tell where we were. The car knew exactly where it was. And so we pulled up the car's GPS, because we never turned on because we got our iPhones, all right? So we turned on the GPS, we turned on the map, and there we are. It shows us the road. We're at the intersection. There we are, this intersection, this place in Michigan. How did the car know that, and none of our phones knew that? Because the car's got a GPS chip in it. That's why. Our phones are connected to cell towers, which are connected to GPS.
But how do you explain UFOs?
They don't exist.
UFOs don't exist?
If they do, they are military. They are military crafts. I don't think they're extraterrestrial.
Every UFO that we've seen has been identified.
That's not quite true either, but okay. That's not quite true, Sasha. But
every blurry photograph.
Yeah, yeah. You can't really say that, but I
No,
would.
I love the idea of UFOs.
The one of the biggest.
But until one lands in Central Park, I'm not gonna buy it until.
Yeah, the best story I've ever heard about this, and this is why, the stealth bomber. If anyone knows what that is, I hope so.
Yeah.
The stealth bomber,
Yep.
before it was publicly known, when they were testing it in Nevada, on 3-night occasion, they got 1,000 phone calls into the police departments around Nevada in 3 days about a UFO.
There you go.
It got so bad that the military had to actually publicize the bomber. They had to. They had no choice.
Stealth bomber.
The stealth bomber.
Amazing.
And I'm just saying, that's a UFO.
So do you guys think? You guys think
UFO.
the Phoenix Lights were just weather balloons?
I don't know.
The what?
I never looked into
The
it.
what?
Phoenix Lights. You guys think that was just weather
What are
balloons?
those?
I have no idea. What
Or
that is.
military
Oh,
flares?
you guys have
You
never
don't know
heard
what the
about that?
Phoenix Lights?
I'll pull it up for you guys. It is intriguing. It's like, what the?
Well, you guys would probably just believe what the authorities told you about it.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
you
we
just,
do.
You just blindly trust.
I just trust what they say. Yep.
Genocidal, eugenic,
100%.
technocrats.
All
Come
the
on,
way.
Dreamars, really, man?
All the way.
Well, I mean, what do you
100%.
mean, really? They have no idea about history.
They haven't genocided.
Your rabbit hole.
They're born into
genocided
this
anybody.
world. They're brainwashed and indoctrinated,
I've
and
not been
then
brainwashed.
Yeah,
you haven't. Did you not get educated at all?
Yeah, I didn't get educated in the way you think I get educated, but that's okay. No,
What do you
so,
mean? Yes, you did. Bertrand
No,
Russell.
actually, no, I didn't. Bertrand Russell said, okay. So the point,
Do you know
the
who
point I was
Bertrand
just
Russell
trying to-
is?
He's just some guy. The point I was trying to make. The point I was trying to make before is our cell phones didn't know where they were because they're connected to cell towers.
This
There
guy's
weren't any cell
education
towers.
sucks.
Okay,
No, that's your
so
opinion.
I had an exemplary education actually. So the cell towers are what our phones.
How
are
come you don't know who
connected
Bertrand Russell is?
Hang on, let him
to.
talk.
Because I have a very poor memory. Okay. I have a poor memory. I tend to
You
forget
read
things.
dumb books. They had you read
Hey,
stupid
Mars,
books in
Come
school.
on, man.
Okay.
Damn.
Well, so I was in Michigan, and our minivan knew where it was, and our phones didn't know where they were. So the only reason I could imagine why that would be is either that our minivan was equipped with some mega sort of antenna that could pick up cell signals, or it's connected to GPS. And because the owner's manual said it was connected to GPS, I tend to believe it was connected to GPS. And the only way GPS works is through satellites. So the
So
fact
your
that you
phone
can
didn't
actually
have GPS
you can see satellites. Okay, you can see the ISS. If these things, here's the thing: if those things weren't visible and you couldn't see them, and NASA just said, well, you just have to trust us that the ISS is really there and satellites are really there. If all that was the case, yeah, okay, you know what? Absolutely, I would think, yeah, this is a bit suspicious. Why can't I see the ISS? I mean, it's only 400 kilometers away. I should be able to see it. It's closer than Disney World. So, yeah, that if that were the case, fine. But I can check to see if the ISS, and people have, and they've said, look, there it is, exactly where NASA says it is. So what do you want me to do? What would you like me to do? I mean, the flat earthers aren't checking these things. So it just, after a while, it just becomes silly.
So why are you here?
I'm here for the debate. I'm here to see if there's anything more, anything better. Is there anything better? Do you have anything more? I'm so far not come across anybody who's actually done any of the tests that would positively prove the flat Earth. For example, proving NASA's lying, other than watching YouTube videos of hairspray. And,
Let's just talk like, philosophically.
Yeah.
Ooh, I love talking philosophically.
Okay, all right. So
go on. The philosophical go.
Why the hell is NASA wasting my earned tax dollars on?
They're not wasting the money.
That honestly, that is kind of matter of one's opinion.
Yeah. Why do they waste money keeping animals alive? Why do they have pet hospitals?
Why do
Doctors?
they waste money on the roads?
Exactly. It's a waste of money keeping animals alive. They're just animals.
It's a waste of money plowing the roads in the winter.
What is the exploration of space done for
It's a
humankind?
waste of money building schools because they're all indoctrinating us
Answer the
anyway.
question. Just answer the question.
What's the point? I couldn't. I'm
What
having
is
trouble with
space
someone.
exploration done for humankind? What has it done?
It has done a lot.
Yeah, there are various medical advances that people are endeavoring to make because they can put things in 0 G
So
or
it hasn't happened
microgravity.
yet?
You don't know that. Have you done any research?
You said they're endeavoring. Hold on. You said they're endeavoring to make. That means
Yes.
that's a future tense.
Well, no, because I actually went on NASA.org or .gov, okay, and I looked around and I dug around until I found some of the experiments that the medical teams had sent up via SpaceX Dragon pod, right? Okay, all of those little experiments get done, and then they come back to Earth, they get the results, and then they go on with their medical research. I don't know exactly everything about it.
It's also
I'm not a
allowed
medical
us
researcher.
to give us a sense of
Including
where we
medical
live and
research from space.
where we came from.
Exactly. So the other one is Blue Origin. Blue Origin is actually getting paid by companies to send up experiments that require microgravity. Okay, because they can give them like 10 minutes of microgravity,
How's that
which is
helping
much
humankind? How's that helping?
because whatever they are studying requires that you have, for example, if you have liquids that are affected by so liquids separate according to their density, right? And if you can have two liquids that congeal, all right, without being separated in that way, you can do things that you couldn't ordinarily do on Earth. So they have those type of experiments. Anything that would go better.
They can't separate atoms and shit here on Earth.
Not if they're inert and they just settle. No, they can't.
They can do them if they put them in a large hadron collider.
Well, there's lots of very expensive ways of doing that, but there are certain circumstances where experiments go better if the conditions are microgravity, and that's what they're doing on the International Space Station. The problem is, I've not yet met one flat earther who has even bothered to look and see what sort of experiments are being done on the International Space Station. All they do is they watch the videos of the astronauts tumbling and conducting static interviews in front of school children and say, "Oh, look at that! There's hairspray and harnesses." That's the sum total of the flat Earth research here. It's absurd. Where is the sophisticated research? Where are they? Why aren't flat earthers going and asking some of the people who've done some of these tests in microgravity and asking them, do you really know that it was done in microgravity?
So
no one is doing that. There's nobody doing that.
Somebody to do a test up there when you can do a test down here on Earth.
Like wait. Find the results for a test that was done up in space. Do the same test. Find the results for that same test done on Earth. And compare the results and see why it had to have been done in space, or do that or find a test that you can do yourself on Earth.
What's this, Sean?
It's just ISS. It's just I picked a random ISS tracking that I saw on YouTube.
That's the Z fighter or whatever.
That's the ISS being tracked.
This conversation.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this conversation is valuable because generally when I ask people in chat rooms or whatever, I get blocked.
Oh, you're not going anywhere.
So, no. I mean, but generally, I asked Bob Nodell. You know who he is? Okay, I asked him why he doesn't point a laser or a radio telescope at the moon to gauge its distance. He just called me a clown and blocked me. So
what's that got to do with me?
Nothing. But guys,
nothing. But it's. I'm just explaining that when you ask a question like "What is space doing for mankind?" When you get the answer, you just yawn and say whatever and move on to the next question. You're asking questions. You're not really looking for the answers.
Well, hang on, guys. I do hate to stop the conversation.
Infinity and beyond.
But I honestly I have to end the stream because I have to get packed and ready to go for this trip.
Yeah,
which
late.
I have not even started. So.
Gosh.
Yeah, exactly.
When are you leaving?
At 9 a.m.
Get out of here.
I have like 12 hours to do everything.
Goodbye.
Red, you want to say anything before you take off?
Hey, Sean, I just want to ask when you want to get together and work on that.
It'll have to be around Monday. I won't be back until Monday.
Sounds good.
Are you working on a large hadron collider?
No, we're working on a show.
We don't want to talk about it yet. Hush.
Super secret.
Yeah, give me Monday, Tuesday, Sasha. I promise, man, that we will, because I know you've been trying to for a while now. Red, did you got anything to say?
Yeah, no, I appreciate the conversation. Great balance of people, no name calling, and got a little bit testy a little bit, but that's fine. A conversation
that's
like
the
this,
nature of the beast.
It is the nature of the beast. So I appreciate the conversation very much.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
No problem. Seek and find, my friend. Anything?
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I know it gets a little testy sometimes. It's just like I said, it's the nature. And yeah, man. We have another conversation again. You know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk again.
Yeah. Well, that's the best part. You guys, the people I have on my panel right now, are actually, you guys are the ones that I at least worry about when it comes to getting out of control.
Cool.
So I appreciate you guys for not taking it to that disrespectful point and leaving it at conversation. Getting heated. That happens. Period. I don't care
All
who you are.
Yeah.
I mean,
even the pub, it gets heated.
I mean, as a matter of fact, seek and find. I respect that out of you because I know you're not. I know it's not fake. I know you're not just here to argue. It's your belief. It's your point. You feel strongly about it. Thank you for not being one of those assholes that are just thinking everything's a joke. I
really
definitely
do want to get
appreciate
some leeway here, man. I do want to, if it's a globe, man, I'll accept it as a globe, but you have to show me, practical experiment or practicality, man. That's what I want to see. That's it. I'm sorry.
Well, I get it because I know that's the main thing everyone has to remember too. Everyone does this. Every single person. If someone just tells you something, sometimes there have been times when you went, I don't know. That doesn't seem. I mean, we had this whole beginning of this stream. We had a conversation where a couple of you guys were like, "You're crazy. Space-based power is not going to happen." And I mean, the evidence that we have is showing they're going to be launching soon. It's not that it's not plausible. So I mean, everyone's opinion matters. Everyone's point of view matters, and the only way we've gotten to where we are in society is doing what we're doing right now.
Pushing.
Exactly. So, guys, I appreciate it. I gotta get out of here, otherwise I'll keep ranting. I'm gonna end the hangout, but you guys can stay in here if you'd like.
Okay.
I'm gonna actually put the link in the chat for anyone else who wanted to jump in on the conversation and say like I normally do, because I'm leaving this open. It will not be recorded, so you do not have to worry about that.
Fantastic.
And then I'll talk to you guys later.
Take care.
Yep.
All right, thanks, Sean. Man.
Thanks, Sean. Have a good trip.
You too. Or thank you.
Thanks.
All right, guys. Like I said, I gotta get ready, get this trip going. Again, I do so much appreciate the fucking panelists that I had because they make doing this that much easier. And we really get a wide spectrum of views on what's going on, guys. Also, check out the space-based solar power stuff for yourselves. More importantly, look into this whole INF treaty that Donald Trump backed out of. To me, when I'm looking into it, I've only done a day's worth of looking into it, so I know nothing. But I'd like to look more into it, and then next when I get back from my trip, start building on that as well, and we'll do the flat Earth thing. But one thing that I definitely wanted to express, and I made sure I took a note of this so I could say it at the end. Flat Earth. Trust me, I was there. I get it. I know where you're coming from. I do not fault any flat earther, real flat earther, for your questions, your thought of how things aren't. I get it. Trust me, I get it. Here's the thing. My only issue that I do have is that I ask, you need to have the same scrutiny for your evidence or your model as you have on us. Otherwise, we're spinning wheels and we're not going to get anywhere. Guys, I appreciate it. I got to get the heck out of here. I got to get ready. Thank every single one of you guys for being here. Thank every single one of you guys for that we're here participating on the panel. Again, couldn't have done it without you guys. I'll see you guys hopefully Monday, Tuesday, and we'll continue building. I ask one thing. I understand we have our beliefs, and our beliefs are based on the evidence that we accept. But I ask one thing. Globe and flat Earth. What if?
but my legs heavy, I don't get it. How come I haven't hit it already? Still working, still learning, I'm still searching, finally earning something, finally turning something called a profit. If I hear you talking shit, don't get caught in it. I'll be popping off and hit your ass dropping all your shit. Yeah, I promise this, I got promises. You ain't stopping this, cross my shit. You'll be losing conscious bitch. That's the consequence. I got this, I will not quit. I'm on it, I'm gonna launch quick. I'm on it, it's just a matter of time before I'm over the line and moving under my pride. With my 9 to 5, I'm rocking. They watching, cause it's shocking. Dropping these top 10s, I'm so stopping. It's time to live my life. It's time to live my life. Wish I could slow down time, just enjoy my life.